Hey,
I'm with you over there. Uh-oh. As
hey,
you guys
you
can
hear me
see,
okay, all
we're
right?
about to have a fun show. If you guys do not see who we have here,
Let me
we
turn
have
this
some
down
of our
because I'm
guests
in
and
here
friends.
jamming.
It's been quite a while. I've been wanting to get the brother Reef on here for a minute. As
What's
you
up,
guys
fam?
can see, we got our boy Uncle Warren, Extra Bullet War Deer Entertainment, back with us.
What's up, guys?
And of course, we got my ride or die with me, Mr. Cy Lawson. How we doing tonight, brother?
You already know, man. We just here chilling, man. I don't know what's going on my screen. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, we still
Yes.
hear you. Well, you froze up a little bit, but we can still hear you good. I noticed you guys are over at Reefs. I was watching, Reefer After Dark. As you guys can see, the man below me, as you see the smoke clouds glazing around his
Yes,
face.
sir. Those clouds, son.
It was
Thanks, Will. I
fun.
appreciate it.
I watched as much as I could, and then I had to. At a certain point, I was like, "All right, I got to get off, refocus, got to get centered, and get myself back into teacher mode." You know,
Right.
Yo, I woke up this morning. I was still laughing. I was like, "Yo, that shit was mad fun."
I got about a half an hour, and you guys were killing me, and I was like, "Oh, I wish I could partake, but I can't."
That's whoever. Everyone around me gets a real strong jaw from laughing so much, you know? Their fucking face hurts after. They're trying to chew their fucking shit in the morning. They'll be like, this is hard. What the fuck? You know? Fucking, who knew eggs? God. You know, like.
And I see my boy Words of Will out there. Let me put Will up in
What's
the
up,
chat.
Will?
What's up, Will?
He says,
What's
"Hey
up, fam?
fam, love y'all. Wanted to say hey. I try not to use the Fed tube if there's another alternative, so I'm heading to Rockfin. Yes, I am dual streaming tonight. I am on IndependentLeft.News' channel, so go over to Rockfin, check us out if you're over there.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have a special assignment for Chris. I want you to kind of keep up if you can with the Rockfin. Or actually, you know what? I can do that. Gonna go on over there and try to
just gotta have those 8 monitors up. You know?
Yes. That's the benefit of keeping my phone over here.
I'm on it, Marcus.
I'm gonna make sure
right.
So my apologies for everybody for running a little bit late. For those who don't know, some do know. I do observe the Shabbat. So while I was serving the Pesach, the Passover, had me some nice, wonderful lamb last night that I grilled. Of course, I had my unleavened bread, and instead of using red wine like most people would use, I actually use a red. It's a red wine vinegar, and I take shots of that basically because that gives more to the essence of what the Messiah would have had on the cross, because he was getting fed just bitter vinegar. So it just tries to kind of put me in the same headspace, and you know what it's all about. And so, off of that talk for a minute, and by the way, I guess the last thing I'll say on it, for those who are interested in that, go over to my other channel, Hebrew Apologetics. You guys will see the lesson that I was going into. We talked about crucifixion a little bit. We talked about what I don't like to call it Easter. I like to call it crucifixion and resurrection, because I go into all the paganism attached to Easter with Ishtar and Semiramis and basically Madonna and all the mother God worship and all that. So gets down into a deep hole for those who are into theological talks and discussions. But let's get on to this discussion for tonight. This is going to be some fun stuff. I especially wanted to get Uncle Warren on here and Chris, because I can have me 2 New Yorkers to talk about the New York shooter. Reef, I've been watching some of his content, and he brings subjects from all over the place. And so I know he can always hop right on in. And also, for some of this stuff, when it gets a little darker, we need a little bit of a lighter tone. We need to, lighten the tone, have some more levity in the room. So definitely can bring Reef in here. We see Jimmy Sinclair. How are we doing? Haven't saw her in here, but
what's up, girl?
You're welcome to be in here. We're carrying sign says vinegar is great for your health, surprisingly low sodium, but watch out for the sugary ones. Yes, definitely. I I kind of tripped up my boy Fuzz with the bitter herbs. You know what I use for mine? Pickles.
Yeah.
Pickle and dill actually qualifies as a bitter herb.
Right.
See, you gotta use the cabeza sometimes. You gotta be a little sharper.
I mean, I would use like a diesel, maybe like a sour haze. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, Moses didn't talk to God without burning a little bush, is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You know something interesting that because like I also look into like a lot of archaeology and things like that too, especially throughout the Levant. And you know something that they found in there. Now somebody could debunk me later on and say, "Oh, no, that was fake or whatever." I heard that they found cannabis in some of the remains of the early Temple Mount areas.
Oh, absolutely. And Mesopotamia too, right?
Yes.
I think I heard it from Tommy Chong, which take that source with a grain of salt because it's Tommy Chong. But, he talked about how like hashish oil was early religious things where they would take the these in Mesopotamia, they would take like young boys, have them like wrestle around in like weed, right? And then they would get all the weed oil all over themselves. And then they would scrape that weed oil off the young boys for the high priest to have, so.
That sounds almost like some ash oil instead of hash oil.
Whatever. I don't know, man. Like, be like, whose hair is in this oil? I don't know. Like, it's just a weird thing for me, but, do you. So I'm not going to kink shame,
Damn,
so,
it is Saturday. Yes, it is Saturday. Oh, man. Yes, definitely a lot of fun. And they said meso reefer
tamia. Yep.
There we go.
But yeah, they found weed on altars for like, forever. So you ever heard of the stoned ape theory?
No, go into that and don't worry. I am listening to you. I'm just going to make sure to tweet this out.
You're good. So, guy's been on Rogan a ton. There's a book out, Stoned Ape Theory, that essentially the whole reason why humans evolved to have a larger brain was because we were experimenting with psychedelics and, brain-altering drugs as, like, primates. So, as a, like, defense against those problems, we made, the ability to form more neurons. So, but
I don't rule anything out. I really don't rule anything out. I mean, that's one thing I had to learn to do. Well, I'll say for me in particular, and like I did a video on it, like when I was first starting this channel, one of my little shorts, and it was like, every idea and thing that we have, in order for you to really reassess yourself and where you are as a person, you need to like strip apart everything and be like, okay, how much do I believe in this still? How much do I just virtue signal and say I care about this, or do I actually care about this? Do I not actually care about this? And how many things are in our head where we just automatically assume this is this and never look back at it, or decided that's bad, I'm not going to look into this at all. I mean, let's give a random example. Let's say somebody looked at, say, Mao Zedong, and they automatically had all of these certain viewpoints about him, good or bad.
Right.
And I will go back and dig back into Mao and then look at all the good and bad, just like a kid would look at anything. And when you look at everything in that perspective, it helps you kind of get a better assessment. Now, it's just like going back watching an old movie when you're older and you see all the shit you didn't see before, like you guys were talking about with those Disney movies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's especially when like they keep particular parts of those stories from you, or any of that. It gets difficult, and you're constantly having to reassess. Most sane people should do that day by day. Like constantly reassessing it's being retrospective, right?
Yep. And
self-aware, mindfulness, all that fun stuff. So, but. Yeah, like it's just I mean on anything. I mean you can look at any of the stuff with Ukraine, with I mean pick a subject, you know, it's going to be difficult to look back and figure stuff out for yourself. So,
and I'm glad you brought up Ukraine. We are going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah. So we were, I also covered like when the shooter stuff came out on INN News. People should go check that out. I think it's indienews.network was the link tree. You'll find the channels in there for that. But yeah, if you want to get into stuff, so I don't take over your entire show, you know?
Yeah, before we get going too far in the game, let me shout out some of my friends out there. I see Thomas, Oklahoma in the building. We got Misha Key in the building. We're carrying signs. I saw Kelly, Baba Yaga Prepper, and whoever else jumps in here. Glad to see you all. Much love to all of you. And you know what? I guess it's about time we throw our intro in there. Oh, Cannabis Sativa. What denomination is Marcus? Marcus is, if you really want to know, Marcus is a Hebrew Israelite. That's what Marcus is. So that can be that can be controversial, but I don't follow any particular camp's doctrine. I follow my own doctrine. There are certain people who I learn from and teach from, but I have my own approach as I am an individual. So, and if you guys want to know any more about that, you know, we'll get into it on my other page, but you know I got a lot of secular people here, and I'm not trying to get them into that walk.
I thought I heard you were going like full Hasidic, so you could get those little curlicues, you know?
Negative.
Like you look dope. You look dope in that big wool jacket in the summer. You know what I'm saying? Like
hell no. I swear,
that drip's gonna be fresh. That drip's gonna be fresh.
Anything the Hasidics were wearing, man. If I wore it, man, that should be plushed out. That should be dope as hell.
Hit that.
You go to Bed-Stuy and you see they're like the pimp Jews. I mean, they're like these hats, and they got like it's like nice and furry and long. It's like 98 degrees outside, and long coats and curlicues, and every around the holidays, around Hanukkah, it never fails. I'll go to the corner here down by the Stop and Shop, and somebody will stop me and they'll go, "Hello, are you Jewish?" And I say, "No, but I'm willing to learn." So I have the starter kit at home. I just haven't busted it out yet. I just haven't had time, but you know, I'm working on it. So, but I love their outfits, but not in that summertime though. No, I'd have to go back to Christian in the summertime.
But you just shaved your beard. What are you doing?
That's where your power's at, bro. It's like Samson. You can't cut your beard. That's like that Samson talk.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know.
I look like a moil. See, I told you, Christian in the summer, man. I ain't got AC. I ain't wearing them big ass hats and coats up in
here. All right, look, this is going to be fun. So let me go on ahead and get this intro going. Let's get it kick started so you guys could see our craziness. But thank you for everybody tuning in. I already know this is going to be a wild show, so buckle up. Everybody out there, this is your time to tweet this out. Get everybody out. Get all your friends to watching this and let them know this is going to be a wild show tonight. Let's see. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And let's start it.
We're here because you have a question. A question that you need an answer to. Hello, and thank you for joining me.
This is the political matrix.
Quote marks, because these words did not come from us.
Mostly kidding. Mostly.
And the garlic aioli.
And then they're going to change the narrative to Black Lives Matter to all Black Lives Matter, and then they're going to talk about LGBT. You know,
so I felt like I wanted to put a couple of clips together. Seltzer all day long. I love that shit.
Doesn't matter where we are. We obviously came up in there.
And you know how he treats them. He don't treat them nice at all. He real rough with them, and you was a good master.
Budget, so much more, are forming this weird cabal.
Yeah, it's not. None of them are.
Do the Chinese own part of that?
So he picked Masvidal, so I have Colby tonight. Whether it's Biden, whether it's Obama, just sitting up there.
There are people in the Green Party that can organize. No, they can organize. They usually just get blackballed by their own party too.
Taking orders from the private industry here.
You know, like I say, people come on here and they can say stuff they don't normally say on their own shows, which is fine.
I gotta remember to get that douchebag fucking what's his name out of there. I don't know if you guys saw that earlier this week. I'm talking about specifically fucking Graham Elwood.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys see. I try to be like, you know what, you know what, he hasn't wronged you anyway. He's just said some shit you don't really agree with. So
look,
you know,
he's having a hard time. He needs a hug. You know. Like, he just needs love and, like, time. That motherfucker will figure it out eventually. You know what I'm saying? Right now, though, I would not listen to what he is telling you. You know?
Yeah, that dude.
Graham reminds me of a yoga instructor whose studio closed and is just very bitter about it. You know, and,
yes,
and it's taking it out on everybody and is cutting his own hair now. So
I mean, he did not hang out with Bikram for that long for nothing. All right, he didn't do it.
He reminds me of the guy who was runner up to almost getting on the cash cab. He was almost the guy driving the cash cab. It didn't work.
That's funny.
I see Blue Moon Red Wine. Hello, Lucy.
What's up, Lucy?
Thank you for joining us.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be getting and checking everybody on Rockfin and all that too. Chris, I guess, you know, let's talk about that Biden. Let's talk about that I see Mad Marcus in there. Yeah, Jamar, Jamar broke my heart. Honestly, because I used to really fuck with him a lot, and he turned into a fucking crazy person. And I hurts my heart to see what he's become. But hopefully he can, you know, snap out of it. I get it. You know, sometimes we have different issues going on, so you know our emotions can you know cut out our critical thinking. And I know Jamar is an immunocompromised person. So maybe that can be why he's kind of went a little batshit on this whole, you know, let's call it the plague. But man, that dude.
You know, it's just crazy how many we've lost. Like that's what's crazy to me. You know, like I'm so
brains.
It really did. And then it's like if that didn't do it, Ukraine did. If it wasn't those two things, it was Russiagate before that. If it wasn't that, it was some other thing. Like it's a constant propaganda assault. Like, you know, it just keeps continuing, you know.
Yes. Exactly. We got to destroy any kind of leftist thing that's going on over here, any kind of unity. Let's just find each issue by issue by issue and destroy it. Shoot, Glory Jones snuck in the building. What's up, Glory?
You know, I mean, they can co-op any centralization, so you end up having to, like, you know, be as decentralized as possible and be disorganized so that they don't do that. You know, like, which then makes the whole fight even harder. So,
I'm trying to follow these comments over here. Let's see, there it is.
You know.
Chat. All right. So anybody who's on Rockfin, if you guys are already on Rockfin and you prefer it over there, I do advocate for more people going over there, so that way we can build these numbers, especially on any platform, especially like Independent Left News, INN, any of us who are cool with the shit and down, build those platforms so that we can start getting off of, you know, censorship tube. Yep. You know, and so unless they want to get their heads out of their asses and start acting right, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I see them trying to turn everything into the next CBS or CNN. So until that time period, let's all start moving to an avenue which is treating us a whole lot better over there at Rockfin. Hopefully they can let me in the door. I'm still knocking. I appreciate Indie Left News for letting us simul stream over there. But you know, it's always good to have your own house. Then we could go knock on each other's doors.
Yeah.
So,
and as time goes on, my theory is that they're going to start opening up Rockfin to more and more people. So, you know, like I think they're just doing that to try to keep their servers from being lit on fire. You know, I think it's something like that. So, you know, hopefully, the more Ray tokens you probably do with stuff, you know, that probably there's probably a button somewhere over in here, you know, for you to hit with that. But you know what I'm saying? But otherwise,
I'm monitoring.
Right? I'll monitor it. Yeah, I mean, like look at YouTube. How many subs do you guys have on YouTube?
This year we just hit 362.
Right.
And
right.
Oh yeah, by the way, Rockfin, if you count all my channels together, I'm over about 700. So
right.
know, I just diversify, and I only film each of those shows once a week.
I mean, and it's not like YouTube is giving you any traffic. You're getting all your traffic from somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
Right. You know,
the traffic I do get on YouTube is only because I plug it out through all these other means.
Right.
They do not alert anybody to this
show
at all.
It's not going to get recommended ever. No one's ever going to see it on the channel unless they like somehow dig through 9 piles of other stuff to get to you. You know, I mean, the fact that these other platforms are willing to even showcase anyone else at all is great, you know, but like, I mean, yeah, none of our traffic comes from YouTube. It's all on Twitter. Like you know, you form that alliance with like-minded people on Twitter and you can keep tabs for now, at least to some degree.
I was getting it on Twitter. It was weird. I was having, you know, 300, 400, 500, sometimes 1,000. And then all of a sudden I start seeing
nothing.
5, 20, 50. So like my last 3 weeks, it's been on average of like 50. I'm like, that is weird. This is lower than when I first started it on Twitter, and I don't get how it's dropping off of a cliff like that. Well, and then I notice engagement and interactions, and that's way down. So it's almost as if Twitter is censoring me also. Just wondering.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, just about any platform now is trying to do that. So, you know, like it's just real fun to try to figure that out. Go ahead.
There's been a lot of people getting shadow banned on Twitter too. I think Jesse was mentioning this the other day. He put something out and he got like 1,000 likes on the tweet, and then he put something else out and then it was just crickets. You know. So,
yeah, I'm always shocked if one does well. Yeah, like I'm always shocked if something does well. I'm like, oh shit, like that's actually going somewhere. You know.
Yeah. I just want to address something in the chat here. People are commenting that I don't have my Colonel Sanders beard on anymore, and there's a reason for that. So I believe it was Thursday. Was it Thursday?
Warren, did you get herpes in your beard?
But, oops!
It's
like Captain Crunch. It's like, oops, all herpes. Oh, what the hell? No, it was like, look, it's been like in the 60s here, right? We that's usually the regular spring, right? And then random ass Thursday came along. It was 83, and all of a sudden I'm up in here sweating like a whore in church. I'm like, what the hell happened? I was like, get this shit off me! Go away, demons!
Yeah, I get to do that. I get to do that.
Callback from last night.
I get to do that thing that all you New Yorkers do when any of us mention stuff about cold. Be like, y'all don't know cold. Y'all don't know heat. Y'all don't know nothing about no heat. You know? Except everyone here has ACs and we just lock ourselves in the door and never come out during the summer.
That's the thing. I don't have AC. I grew up in Mississippi, so I know heat.
Yeah. You know.
But I haven't been in it. I lived out in LA for a while, and then now I've lived up here. Yeah, people who say in New York who say that oh, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot for you, but go down to New Orleans in August. All right, nice knowing you. All right,
Right.
sweat your ass off, and everything else come back like 50 pounds lighter. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that's.
I mean, what you can do, if y'all in the north want to know what to do, take your oven, turn the oven on to like its highest temperature, put 4 pots of water on the stove, and just leave that on, you know, for a while and see how miserable it gets, because that's Florida in the summer. Like, fuck that. You know.
Speaking of Florida in the summer, when I first started at Lowe's, I was working in the garden loading during the summer in Jacksonville, Florida. You
Yup.
know how hot that shit was?
Oh,
I mean,
concrete oven.
You bring about 3 or 4 shirts every day because you just go through shirts, just drenching them over and over and over.
You know that like thing at Krispy Kreme's that like drops the sugar on shit, right? You need that of antiperspirant. As you go out the door in the morning, you're just like, yep, I'm gonna need that. Like, oh, it's miserable. But
So actually, like Glory says here, Florida heat index will be like, oh, temperature is 89, but it feels like 113.
113 is awful. You know, like the humidity is terrible. Everything's stuck everywhere. No, there's not enough baby powder in the world. Not enough. You know, this is not enough. Like, so
Exactly. I'd be running out of baby powder when I need to slap somebody too. So I mean, that's
dude,
not
that's
good.
the worst. You need that like Kobe chalk right over here. You know what I'm saying? You getting it ready. Like, that's, you know, that motherfucker's pissed off at you if he goes to the chalk bowl before he slaps you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you need that grip for? Get out of here.
I'd be
That
like,
nonsense.
I don't know if y'all remember the old school movie Above the Rim.
Mhm.
I'd be like Boogaloo, like it's all about the grip, baby. It's all about the grip, baby.
The grip, baby. Gotta have that grip, son. Oh.
All right, so let's get into one of these topics. I noticed that Biden has been, I mean, and I guess for a little bit, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, a little serious about Biden, and then we're gonna get a little bit more into it. So recently, Biden has decided that he's gonna send more money to Ukraine. What was the figure I last heard was about right under $1 billion. So I guess maybe he was like, well, shit, they got all pissed off last time I sent $1 billion. Let me trick them. Let me send about 900 million. That's not $1 billion this time. So
is that 99 cents on it? You know what I'm saying?
So what are your
Like,
thoughts on like us sending more and more and more money to Ukraine? Because my thinking is, if they're winning the war, like you know our American media says, then why do you need to keep sending more and more and more money? That sounds like you're losing.
Halliburton asked for it.
That's how much propaganda costs, man. You're paying for propaganda. That's what that money is. And you talk about, yeah, it's under $1 billion. That's like getting a 99-cent Arizona at the bodega, and you give them $1 and you don't get that penny back. You're like, where's my penny? Where's my penny? No, it's in Ukraine. Go get it. You know. So that's what it is. They're paying for propaganda because they know they're losing, and people are more and more people starting to see through the BS. You know, you see the people with the Ukrainian flags on their profiles. You're like, they either they don't get it or they do get it, and they're just propping up the empire. You know, trying to do that. It's just disgusting, man. It's just so obvious.
It's funny you say that. I just went to go into the grocery store. I went to the Albertson, and it's like, would you like to round up your change to send to Ukraine? Fuck no.
Yeah, I want to round down the change now that you said that. Like
I want to go to a different store. Fuck you.
You owe me for that advertisement. Like, fuck you. But no, I mean, like Biden, like you said, if we're losing, if you know that, like, what's the deal? You know, Russia obviously. I mean, I saw this week that the Somali crew is took down the flag in the Donbass or whatever. I don't know if anyone saw that on Twitter. Yep. Like, yeah, does that mean we're still winning over there or what? Like, you know, I mean, you're seeing a gigantic shift in how the world is viewing us, let alone the whole order, you know. So, Like all while, Israel is doing what right now? What is Israel doing?
Hold that. We're gonna get into that. Reef, I want to hear all what you guys got to say about Glory's comment here. It says, bro, we ran into pro-Ukraine people doing a photo op in front of the White House when we did our DC protest. They had signs that were like, Biden, take action now. Bitch, he already did that shit.
Absolutely.
So,
you know,
I mean, perfect segue. I mean, perfect instant. Glory, we need to get your ass back on here again soon. Soon.
Yeah. I mean, the bigger the microphone you give her.
If you want to come on now, let me know, and I will send you the link.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be nice.
Like, I never understood it. You know, I mean, on just about every turn of this story, we've been able to debunk just about everything from start to finish, right? You know, people not understanding historical parts of any of it, you know, so, like, you know, to me, it's one of those things where it's like, fuck around, they're gonna find out, you know, like, essentially, that's Russia's just going like, yeah, all right, like the whole economic thing. They're going, you want to play economic games? We can do that. Here, watch this. You know, like, hold my vodka. Let me change this to the rubles real quick. How about that? You know, like, that's all it is. Like, you know, and if China's gonna back them, like, who else is with them? Who else is gonna listen to the guy who's been talking shit in the back of the room for like decades now? You know, causing like, how many wars are we in now? Like how many? Right?
We're starting to like. I feel like maybe the rule should be when you get into more wars than you have fingers to count. It's probably too many damn wars.
Right. I mean, Condoleezza Rice Pilaf is out here fucking saying that invading a sovereign country is a fucking war crime. You, lady, you're saying that. You want to go grab, you know, Colin Powell and your buddies and head to jail then? How about that? Like, you know, I mean, we've been doing this shit since like what? Y'all remember the Maine? Like how many times you got to go through war propaganda for people to figure it out? Like, you know, y'all need to go read Gnome when he was actually not crazy.
That's what I'm saying. When he was sane, the same.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, have you seen this guy recently? Like look a picture of what he looks like.
Yeah, it's like he has, you know, Wilson the volleyball with him at all times. That's what it looks like. But, you know, like he's prepping for that role.
They're straight up hostage videos. All he's missing is today's paper for proof of life. That's all those videos are missing, and him going, please send me some crackers. I like some crackers. Crumble them up in a soup. Lukewarm, the heat's too much for my esophagus. You know, and you're like, what the fuck happened to you, Gnome? No, you turned into Yard Gnome, man. What happened, man? Yeah,
you know,
he's crazy.
He's gotten that, you know, he's one of those dudes that, you know, one of those seniors that figured out they could get that medical op pack. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's been happening. He's been on huffing Cheeto dust at this point. He's in deep. You know what I'm saying? He's still scraping Dorito dust off his fingers and shit. Like, you know, then they shove him in front of a camera. So.
Wow, Misha says some Russian news channels are literally referring to it as World War III already.
Yeah, that's screw it. You know, there's a group on, you know, if you're into real weird gun shit like I can be sometimes. Go look up the Kalishnikov group, right? Like, and see how Russian soldiers at the top level train, right? And go tell me that those crazy motherfuckers are anyone you want to do anything with. Like, they're literally with plate vests taking rounds to the chest with their buddy in front of a paper target, and they're shooting by his head. Like, their buddy fucking, you know, on like at least a half a bottle of vodka the whole time too. So, you know, they're a modern army with a modern navy and a modern air force.
Yep.
With production and resources to back it up. It is not a good idea. And what are they all sitting on top of? At least enough nuclear silos to wipe all of us out.
I keep telling everybody, I say, time for people to start getting their orders in a fair, because make sure that you're doing everything right, because I don't know what other people necessarily believe in, but now's the time to start making sure you smooth over those rough edges you got with your maker right now, because you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though, if those missiles start flying, you're gonna see my ass outside like Andy Dufresne when he got out to prison. Oh, come on, Morgan Freeman, come on, Morgan. Yeah,
Andy Dufresne, my friend.
That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
I gotta stop the presses. What did you just say, Anthony? I'm starting to believe you, Marcus.
Oh shit!
I've been reading. Chris, weigh in now. Did I not have Emmanuel, who is an atheist? An atheist, by the way, who ironically has the name Emmanuel, which means God is with us. But that's another topic. But he's literally saying, hey, some of that stuff that you've been talking about, I'm kind of starting to see it kind of lining up. I've been telling Chris and all that. How long have I been talking about China and Russia teaming up?
China.
Start seeing all this stuff going on. How long, Chris? My man is over there in a silo right now.
Dude, he's just stuck.
He's partying, that's why. They're really going at it. That's what it is. He done had some smoke and some drink. My man is not. He is literally downstairs right now. I don't know if he told you guys, but he has like literally a dance floor, like a club, like right next to his spot.
Gotcha.
Like I already told him, I'm like, bruh, my camera would be off if I were you on every show. And I would just be sneaking outside and be like, hey, are you in the club? No, I'm not in the club. Yeah, Biden is in the funds here, and I think that this should go. All right, now bye. That's what I would be doing.
I'm just hoping they throw those dollars up high enough for Chris to get them. You know what I'm saying? That's what he needs.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I laugh because Marcus and I have had many conversations on Russia, China, and global affairs, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's direct issues,
Thomas, I won't distract you anymore. Go ahead.
Whether it's indirect or proxy wars, whatever the case may be, but we always end up on Russia, China, and moving like how it relates to the United States. So now here we are. It's looking like it's about to happen. I don't think that it's going to come out to like full, they're not going to step in the ring yet. Like they're not ready to step in the ring. They're getting ready for the weigh-in, right? This is like if it's like a boxing match, right? They just talking shit like it's like 24/7, and they in the talking shit mode. But we on the countdown before they actually get to the weigh-in, and then we have the fight night.
Reminds me of that. What is it? Was it Frazier or Foreman? It was like Ali, right? And Ali's been talking tons of shit, like Ali does, right? And they go to the casino or whatever, and the homeboy's got the big fur jacket and pulls out the fake gun, and like Ali takes off. Who was that? I can't remember that one. Like that's that. Like talk shit. Like shit might happen. And that's essentially what Russia's doing. Is just like that. It's.
One thing I will say with the ruling class, what they are doing really great at, what they are excelling at right now, is stretching our brains, our ability to think of one thing, to stay focused, to hold on to the data, to be able to spit it out while looking at the next thing coming, while looking at the bullshit that happened just yesterday. It's so many things. That's why it's good that there's a whole lot of us doing this, because for one or two people to try to keep your eye on it, much less understand and dissect it, and then be able to disseminate the bullshit or, to explain everything, it takes a lot. Because as I'm thinking about, like, Russia, Ukraine. Again, Israel just bombed Damascus on
Mm-hmm.
one of their most holy days.
Yeah. We just got done with
week-
Ramadan, right? Like, or is it in the middle of it?
We're entering into Ramadan, but we just had the start of Passover. We have Easter going on in the land, and Ramadan is going on. So you have all three of the holy holidays all starting like basically this weekend.
Yeah, we had Mardi Gras a couple weekends ago. You know, so
and you know what? I still didn't see. You know, for people who are always mesmerized by like masses of people standing up against, you know, the ruling class, I haven't seen anybody really cover the Pakistan like protests or their reaction to what happened to Imran Khan.
Right. But the whole literal coup.
We're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about
all those motherfuckers still talking about Jan 6 as a coup. Ain't talking shit right now with that. You know,
and that was literally a coup. And the family who is now the Sharif family who is in charge, they go a long time. That's like familial. That's like royalty. You know, that's like a Bush. The Bushes here. You know, the Kennedys, etc., etc. So there's a lot of like corruption and nastiness that goes on. That's going on there. But if you want to talk about people just being in the street, massive numbers of people, I mean, that was incredible. Of course, nowhere to be found, unfortunately, even in some of the independent spaces. But I can't fault everybody because, like I said, there's just so much shit to cover.
Yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel all the time.
And speaking,
Glory, how you doing?
I was gonna say, speaking of head on a swivel, who's always out there, who's always punching up, not afraid of damn near anything as far as I've seen.
Aww.
The princess of protesting out on the streets, Mrs. Glory Jones. Thank you. Oh yeah, she's the princess. That's royalty down there.
Oh god damn it, man! I'm not royalty.
Oh no, I'm telling you, I wish I had even a portion of the foresight and determination that you have at your age when I was that age.
I get that a lot. But yeah. I mean, what's happening in Pakistan is wild. I honestly barely even had a chance to look into it because I'm still like kind of recovering from the DC trip. So by kind of recovering, I mean like I haven't been doing anything because it was like weeks of preparation and shit and trying to get ahead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you see tons of increased, like, there's more propaganda as we head into midterm, like, you know, it's ridiculous with that, too, like.
Damn, were you reading Mad Marx's, because, like, bang, you guys were dead on at the same, you know. Sorry, on ahead, Reed.
What, the minds think alike, something like that?
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, like, I mean, all of us who have been paying attention, you know, we miss things from here, like, time to time, but, like, we all end up at the same place. You know, everything's corrupt. Like, you know, regardless of what you think after that, we can all start there pretty much. Like, they're almost always lying to you. And like, I could just take out the almosts, you know? So, but
Mad Marxist with Mayo Pete as VP.
Please,
gross.
But here's the thing. It's whatever we think is probably going to be the worst solution is probably what it's going to be.
Or it's going to be even worse than that. Although, you know what? I do take, like, it does give me, like, a really morbid sense of solace and solidarity to know that, like, you know, the first gay VP is going to be pretty shit too, because I'm telling you, it sucks to have like the first woman VP, the first black woman VP, the first fucking like part Jamaican VP to be Kamala Harris. Like, it stings, bro. So at least, like, you know, at least the gays will have that same feeling and know our pain.
And they follow it up with the first black president who was too like, Pookie, pull your pants up, Pookie. You know, we're following it. They find the fucking worst of whatever they can find to put up there.
Pretending to take a sip of Flint water.
I mean, just look at Black Giuliani in New York. I'm saying, like, you could say I said it first, like. He's going to be the Black Giuliani. I mean, you could already see.
You call Black Giuliani? He's like, yeah. I always call him Black Biden, but because same shit. I mean, but they, Giuliani and Biden, they may be like different political parties, but it's all the same, right? I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
a great point right there.
If you look at what Eric Adams is doing in New York, it's no different than what Giuliani was doing in early 90s New York. I mean, what did he do? He said, all you homeless people, get out the city. We're going to remove you. Either if we lock you up, we give you a bus ticket, we send you to prison. It doesn't matter. We get rid of you. You can see that's what's happening throughout New York right now.
Watch them bring Stop and Frisk back just for nostalgia. Watch them bring that shit back.
Absolutely. Look, Biden said, we need to do something about guns. What is it? A few days later, somebody shoots up a train in Brooklyn, miraculously doesn't kill anybody, miraculously leaves his credit card, miraculously leaves the U-Haul key.
Gets caught just randomly walking on the sidewalk.
And it definitely wasn't the cops finding him. It was some motherfucker working at a bodega.
No, it was because it was the perfect hero story. It was the Syrian immigrant
for sure.
that was just working in his humble bodega, and then he just so happened to spot the killer.
Meanwhile, the cops are over there with a street sweeper, like picking up tents for the homeless. Like that's what they're doing.
And also too, he called the cops on himself, saying, "Hey, I see you guys are looking for me. I'm by the McDonald's on 43rd. You come get me." I mean, first the report was that homeboy was 5'5". Yo, Grimace was like 6'3" and probably pushing 300 pounds.
Yeah,
Grimace. Is he the fucking hamburger and shit too?
I was about to say, you'd find me hard pressed to call the cops on anyone, much less myself.
And don't y'all motherfuckers at home act like the Grimace movie was not the best movie. Get out of here.
I'm wondering how a guy that can barely walk, shuffling, pops off all these people. Don't kill anybody, by the way. I don't. For one, we should look at that like, damn. How did this dude shoot this many people and didn't kill none of them? Maybe he's an expert shot. Maybe his goal was just to wound a bunch of people and then slowly walk away and not get caught by the NYPD.
Now, if you prescribe to the magic bullet theory of the JFK assassination narrative, then I think this is a pretty viable narrative. But otherwise, yeah.
What y'all don't know, that's the real Blade. He was just, shooting a bunch of vampires and shit,
Right. So for those who have not been on the New York subway, right? During that time in the morning, in that location, it's packed, right? All those cars are packed. There are a lot of people in those cars. You could take a little deuce, close your eyes, spin around, and pull the trigger. And you can empty however many's in there. You're probably going to hit somebody. You might shoot somebody right in the freaking face and they may die, right? From a little deuce, much less a much bigger weapon with a larger magazine. So with that being said, he didn't kill anybody. That's weird as fuck. Everybody just got shot in the knees. Nobody was even paralyzed. Again, the story sounds weird. And just like 9/11, they found a passport. They found this guy's credit card. He left it there. I mean,
yeah.
Yo, again, people believe this shit. I tell you, got to really just stop and think and consider that they're trying to beat you in your head.
We were talking about this on Franco's show the other night. It was me and Ricky Rance on there. He's from New York too, and we were talking about how all the oddities. First off, so all the cameras didn't work, right? For some reason,
it must have been on the same. It was on the same electrical line that was in the jail where Epstein was. You know, those cameras.
Right.
You know,
It's the same. It's the cameras that are made out of rat food because the shit don't work when you need it. There's a little rat chewing up there. The police radios didn't work. Apparently made out of what the cameras are made out of.
Yeah.
And Building 7.
But they said they got a description off the guy. So he was like 5'5" and kind of rotund, and this guy looked much bigger. And there was circulating a picture of him coming into the station, which is like, why the hell are you taking a picture of somebody coming into the station when shit didn't even happen yet? You know what I mean? What? That's like all it is. It's like some Oliver Stone shit back and to the left.
Y'all forgot the rest of the description that the cops were using. You know, African American male from 5'5" to 6'8". You know, just that.
Yeah, bro.
You know,
they always do that shit.
They should have just said he had a horn sticking out of his head and he was like multicolored and he was like shit and ice cream because it was a fucking unicorn. That's like that dude is a fucking unicorn.
They probably said his weight was, but he's between 125 and 470.
You know,
I mean, like, you know, it makes it's so broad. And again, they just happened just like after 9/11 when they found out what hotel these guys stayed in, what they had for breakfast, what the name of the prostitute was who visited them the night before they took off. You know, the color of their drawers. They just had that. They managed to just get the picture of this guy. I mean,
well, he had to also make a whole YouTube channel with like 2-3 hour long podcast, right? Just so that they'll start coming after us YouTube podcasters on top of that for more of that. You know,
good thing you said that, Rick. Let me pull this.
Keep referencing.
I saw a comment up there that dovetails perfectly. What was it? I think Oz said.
And then they immediately deleted it too. Like,
Oz,
you know,
as soon as they arrested him, they took down his channel. That was
right.
But before then, that craziness was fine. But once they arrested him, oh, that's official. He's crazy. Got to take down his channel. That's what.
This is what Oz said. It's fake as fuck, but I can't work out the point of it all. Was it achieved? And that just ties into what you were just saying, Reef. If this is a false flag, then that could be the motive. I mean,
again for New York, but you got to think specific to New York first, right? And then we can go out from there, right? So what does this mean for New York? Surely it's going to mean more surveillance. Surely it's going to mean more money for police, etc. in the short term. It's going to require some kind of tech fix to make the subway
facial recognition, right? Or you know,
I mean,
scanning a tattoo on your arm.
Correct.
I would say they already have that though. They already have that though. I think that because it's New York, you know, and a lot. Well, think about it. A lot of the news journalism focus on what happens on the coast. So if it happens in New York, it could have basically have happened anywhere. That's how they see it. So whether it happens New York or LA, this is a broad spread problem that we need to worry about, even though most cities don't even have subways or very good public transportation anyway.
But
that allows for cracking down on people nationwide.
And the metro is ass compared to the subway.
Yeah, but just keeping it in New York though, right? Sticking with New York centric, and they're also crying about a rise in crime throughout the city, specifically in the Bronx, right?
And the propaganda that's came out since this story has happened, that they're talking about this supposed rise in New York crime, right? Like it's ridiculous. I completely agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Eric Adams has been talking about the rise.
Reintroduce a stop and frisk, maybe just on some like the upgraded version of stop and frisk.
Right.
All I'm saying is they're going to use this to bring down the hammer even harder on the regular people.
Find all that Russian weed. That's what they're gonna find. You know. So
What?
But
they want to bring down black dating channels too. He's up to them. Oh wow.
They better, if they're doing that, they better fucking start with farmersonly.com. I'm just saying. That shit need to go.
Next Christian singles.
Christian
Them
Mingle.
motherfuckers gotta go. They're dangerous.
And then J-Date.
I mean,
J-Date's going down.
I mean, but Marcus's has been on Only Hebrew Hammers for a long time, so, you know, fucking whatever. You know what I'm saying? No fucking, I'll see myself out. That's it. Good night. Fucking, you know. Oh, shit.
Oh, I see Spade is hopped into. Hey, Spade, how we doing? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Lithium said, and I'm going to direct this to you, Chris. They said DeSantis wins 41 plus states. I don't see that reality. But
Nah, bro, I don't want to see the fucking like DeSantis versus Kamala. I really don't. Like the culture warriors are gonna go insane. You know, everybody's gonna be like, fucking like, you know, one side's gonna be racist, the other side's gonna be racist. One side's gonna and they're both gonna be like fear mongering against shit that has nothing to do with the surveillance state. So.
Right. Well, it's like I saw people upset at them at DeSantis gerrymandering shit. Like, of course that's what he would do. The Democrat would do the same fucking thing if they were there.
Yeah,
like,
bro. Have you seen
they're just not as
Wasserman
clever.
Schultz's district?
like for real. How is it all Northeast Miami? How's it all right there? You know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah. You gotta make sure you get South Broward, but only South Broward from like Fort Lauderdale, not Miramar, because you don't want too many Jamaicans in your district. You know.
Yeah, nothing near Little Haiti. Nothing near that.
You gotta make
right.
sure you cover Northeast Miami, but only the Bay Area where all the bougie gusanos are. Like, yeah.
Right. Definitely don't go out where those like Roman villas the cartel be having that they, you know, put on top of the swamp. Don't go out there either. You know? So fucking dumb.
Kelly.
Like
Kelly.
Well, and shit, I forgot. Let's see. Will just said, and I forgot about this before we hopped on. South Carolina just had a mass shooting, 3 people. I mean, the way I see it personally, I honestly think, you know, if everything's popping off all over the place and getting crazy, we need to be able to watch people everywhere. And so it goes back into what I was talking about not too long ago. Actually, I talked about it on Hebrew Apologetics not that long ago, but I remember we talked about it on here a couple months back and talked about it maybe 2 years ago. Microchipping. That's something that we need to actually be watching out for. I just learned in Georgia they're having chipping parties.
Fun. Wait, what? What's this?
Yeah.
A party? I mean, like
They're
instead
having-
of a bowl of chips, you got like a bowl of microchips. Like, here, stick this in your arm. We're gonna get fucked up tonight.
It's like somebody's like literally they're over there going over to the house to get drunk, smoke, do whatever, and then putting chips in each other, getting chipped up. So
I mean, what is that?
You're
Just to
like-
turn on the coffee maker? What? Like
it's gonna be
you know,
to handle everything. So it's like, hey, you don't need to carry keys anymore. Keys, that's old school. We just put our hand up toward the door and then unlocks it. It does that with our home. It does that with our business.
yeah,
It does that at
RFID.
work.
Yeah, I can take an RFID card, right? Yeah.
Yep. That's what it's
Yep.
just like. That's old school to take your phone and scan it. Don't
Right.
do that. Just put your hand
Well,
up
and see,
there.
that's yeah. I mean, this is we're talking about cybernetics, like essentially.
Yes,
you
we
know,
are.
the other guy testing that we're talking about who recently, you know, is trying to outbuy Vanguard, right, for Twitter. That guy who made sure a couple of, you know, primates died in a lab somewhere, trying to put brain chips in them. You know, so.
And by the way, didn't that same guy who was doing with that happen to buy a big portion of what was that, Facebook?
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, he's got a lot of money with those blood diamonds that his parents, you know, used. So what are you gonna do?
Blood diamonds.
He's
and he has not rubies, but what is it? And emeralds too.
Right.
You know
Yeah. De Beers and shit, right?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what's frustrating about this is that you really have people thinking that, oh my God, he wants to buy Twitter, as if he was going to allow people to just be on Twitter telling the truth, or like,
Yeah.
saying whatever they want to say. Like, he don't have a bunch of people that he's tied in with financially, like NASA. So he's going to allow us to get on there and really get our nuts off when it comes to NASA and discussing the origins of it, who runs it, the money, where they spend it on, etc., etc. You think he's going to let you have that on his network and he's getting money with them? I mean, the people who think this shit are dumb as fuck.
I mean, this was the same dude that for like a couple days he would block you if you just posted a picture of him with Ghislaine Maxwell. Like,
Right.
Like, no, he's not gonna say free speech is because he's one of the cool billionaires. He went on Joe Rogan, bro. It's like, no,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Or it's like
Like-
or it's like a broken clock. He says something right, twice a day, and it's like, oh, he's woke, or I like him. He's not like the others. He's all tied in with them. I mean, I thought it was ironic and fascinating and funny that you had one of the Saudi princes like, bitch, you're 43 billion ain't shit.
Right?
And you had the Democrats and liberals like, yeah, I'm down with the Saudis. Take that, Elon. I'm just like, yo, these people are lost beyond.
They don't even know, man.
Out of space.
Like people just forget. People just forget that the Saudis have a huge ass fucking stake in Twitter, because I don't know if y'all remember, but back in 2020 or 2021, I think it was either 2020 or 2021. It was right about when Trump did the strike against Soleimani, and there was a period of like 3 or 4 days when we thought we were going to go to war with Iran. During that time period, the president of Syria's Twitter account was suspended. Like, Twitter just suspended the whole ass president of Syria's account. And then that was when everybody was like, oh, well, duh. It's because Twitter is fucking majority owned by the Saudis. And did people just forget that? Because Elon is the free speech warrior. Oh, my God.
We're talking about Elon, the same man who got mad because a kid created a page to say, follow Elon. And follow what he's into, and he got that kid like blocked, banned, and then then he's like, okay, well, I'll back off from that. How about I just pay you to not do that?
Yeah, but Marcus, he dated Grimes. Come on, Marcus. You know what I'm saying? She reads the communist book. She reads it.
Oh, of course.
It's totally not just photo ops. She really read it.
And I've been telling people, this Soleimani thing is not over with. It's you see what Americans think is, oh, well, something gets done, a reaction instantly, because Americans are about instant gratification. Something, boom, boom. That's how everything has to go. But some of these other countries realize America's the main mob boss. If you're gonna go for the king, you better not miss. So they're like, we're gonna get you. But I'm not going to be sloppy about it. I'm going to find the right time. And what I've just been noticing, we got craziness going on all over the U.S. We have, I don't know if anybody's been following what's going on in Sri Lanka. Shit is popping off over there. We got stuff going on like Matt Marks has brought up in Taiwan. That's going crazy.
All over South America.
South America, there's always shit going on. We got stuff that's going on right now all over the Levant.
Protests in Haiti. U.S. Southcom, that basically, I believe it was from April 7th to 8th, but just recently they had another defense conference on tackling, any threats to American influence in Latin America and the Caribbean. And it's like, I read their posture statement, and it's all framed within this like Cold War context, and it's gross. So, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff happening.
Well, I tell people, you got to think about the people who we have who are running things. I'm not even talking about up to the highest level. I'm talking about just even on the political level. Most of these idiots grew up in the time period when, oh, the Cold War and everything is so black and white, and they're so easily propagandized that they literally believe we have to somehow take down Russia because Russia's going to kill us one day. And so
you mean the 80s called?
Yes,
like,
the 80s. They're the 80s
and the 70s and 60s and 50s and 40s called. You mean that thing?
These are people who still live in that mindset, and what they don't realize is, what you guys were worried about then, what your parents were worried about, you guys are going to be the ones that are going to make it happen because of your own fucking behavior.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they don't self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, and the thing about the specific Southcom statements as well was there was a bunch of military bases like AFRICOM especially are also framing it around a Cold War with not just Russia but China because of all the economic shit they're doing. And, that's not to excuse anything that China is doing, but the U.S., rather than taking steps to, actually try and solve those problems and allow these people some fucking sovereignty and self-determination for once, they're just like, oh, well, because China, we have a whole new excuse to go into these areas. Fuck yeah. It's like the fucking Soviet Union all over again. Let's go, bro. Like,
yeah. I mean, and they still think Russia's like in that movie with the Wolverines. That's what they think Russia is.
Red Dawn.
Right. Like that there's some drunk assholes with like a broken AK somewhere. Like, no, dude. Like that's not.
Look at all of the things we mentioned, plus what a few of the examples mentioned in the chat. Again, it's so much shit. They are changing everything. It's like they're putting us in like an egg, and they just shaking the shit out of us. You got to try to stay. You're trying to stay upright and find a way out. It's difficult. It could be overwhelming. So I see why it's easy to propagandize people probably now more than ever, and that's something to be said considering that we all have phones and computers and tablets that would allow us to do some research on any number of items and actually get to, if not the full truth, but we can tell like something is off. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, the fact that people still are falling for like Democrat, Republican shit is sad. Or left, right, or Russia good guy, China bad
Chris,
guy.
You just got to something that like bothers me all the time, which is when all these motherfuckers that have all the access to the information in the world, they still allow the mainstream media to determine what they know. Because it's like, I'll see people that brag about not following the mainstream narrative on this, or this. But then, when it comes to like the issues we were just talking about with like countries in Africa or in the Caribbean or Sri Lanka or Pakistan, they're like, oh, well, I just didn't know about it. Like, I can't form an opinion because I didn't know about it. And it's like, okay, so you brag about not trusting the mainstream media, yet you let them determine what you see as news. That's
and that's truth. It's one thing to say, well, I heard about this topic on CNN, or I heard about this topic on Fox or NPR, whatever. Fine, you heard about it there. At that point, you should like always think like, damn, they're always lying. Let me go do some research. And I mean, when we say research, we got to be careful because a lot of time when they do research, they just end up running to those same companies, just operating under a different name, right?
Yeah.
So make that distinction. The other part is, you could listen to somebody in your family or one of your friends who you thought was fucking crazy talking like us, because we probably on some level are one of the crazy ones in our family, always talking about, some different shit, right? You could start listening to us and then, start going down that road. But they won't even do that. They're too prideful.
The whole time, people are still like they can't find bread to eat. Like no one's got any stability anywhere. Like people are struggling everywhere, and they're expected to like be able to get on. Where they're gonna get on DuckDuckGo. That shit's fucking like you can't go anywhere to find actual information generally. Like, you know, there's people who've got to we got to go through old shit, like call places and trick them into telling us, like, what's going on. Like, you know, it's the dumbest, like, constant, like, you know, barrage of propaganda at people when they don't have time to pay attention anyway. They hear it all through, like, the grapevine, either through Facebook or their coworkers, or, you know, they're not worried about that. They're trying to get home to their, like, you know, kids and wives, and, you know, put like some bacon on the table.
We're so important. That's why exactly why we're so important, Reed, because we have to be like the conveyor belt of information, and really literally take the baby and separate it from the bathwater. Because in every one of these platforms, it doesn't matter what, we're getting a load of bullshit. But there's in order to make the information, you know, accurate, get past, there has to be some truth in there.
Yeah,
Marcus, we're the quality control that they don't want, right? All of us. That's what we make up.
And that's
we're the quality control department that they just really want to shut down, but they can't.
Well, they can. I think they're getting to that's why I think there's something on what Oz was saying earlier. If you can start pegging this stuff on, oh, well, this guy was online saying this crazy stuff, and then he goes out and commits a mass attack, then you can start labeling us as terrorists, like what they were talking about. The CIA was talking about doing that, taking the same approach which they did to so-called terrorists over in the Middle East. They were like, oh, well, this person was online speaking ISIS stuff. And so this is how we combat that threat. Now that they're not in a lot of these theaters anymore, they're coming back and they're wanting to reapply that same doctrine and thinking towards literally us, because we threaten the narratives of what's being pushed out through the mainstream media.
And yet the FAA can't keep Christian youth groups off my plane. Like, they can't do it. They out there saying Jesus is holy at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I would have taken that guitar and shoved it up that guy's ass. I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Jesus or not?
Someone's taking that coffee pot and throwing it at him.
I would have said, "Look, you're gonna see Jesus tonight because I'm gonna shove that thing right up your ass, and the doctor ain't gonna be able to get it out." But see, what you were talking about, Marcus, is true. It's like that's why independent media is important, and that's why they keep saying like misinformation. You know, it all started with COVID. Now they're doing it with, you know, the same things are happening with the Russia-Ukraine business. They're booting people off of YouTube and Twitter left and right for going against the narrative. And that's why Julian Assange is in prison. You know?
Yep.
If he was out, he would be like licking his chops, like, look at all this shit. I can get my hands on this information and put it out. But you know, he's in Belmarsh.
And this is the same thing with the Hunter Biden shit too. How many people were getting kicked off? These couple of different things that we've all mentioned. How many people whole YouTube channels gone? Because that's the reason why everybody's trying to find other outlets now.
They wouldn't even allow. And this is not, I'm not caping for these people, but they cut down the New York Post article. It's the New York Post. They're allowed to give you a whole lot of bullshit all year long. They can tell you about Kim Kardashian's latest ass job. They can tell you about what chick Carmelo Anthony was plugging on the side, but they start telling you about Hunter Biden, and the entire internet is like, oh no, can't do it.
Did you see in Chicago? I know everybody saw the Brian Seltzer one where he got called out by that one kid from who was basically bringing up how Fox, you guys talk about Fox and you guys do the same shit. Another one came up in Chicago where she a young, I guess, college kid blasted one of the ladies over there. And this is what she said. I don't feel like that was a pertinent story to worry about, basically. And so I'm like, so what you're telling us is you felt it could have been accurate or something like that, but you felt the need to shoot it down because you don't care.
You felt the need to control a narrative.
Exactly. You're controlling narratives. She literally admitting that she's controlling narratives.
And then months later, what happens? Oh, you know, that Hunter Biden story, there is truth to that. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
his laptop is out there. And yeah, he has ties to Ukrainian countries. And yeah,
China.
he's corrupt. And yeah, he's a crackhead. And yeah, his father knows. And yeah, they're all pieces of shit. I mean, it just go on and on and on.
And let's not leave James Biden out of this too, because that motherfucker is just as corrupt. The only thing is he just hasn't got caught with his dirt, but he's just as corrupt. I covered this on What We've Been Thinking channel about the Bidens, how corrupt they've been for so damn long, and that's the reason why. Why do we think all the credit card companies are in fucking Delaware?
Huh.
Hello, because they found their mark. They're like, oh, he that dirty? Bet you doing business? Oh, all of them came, and so
Delaware,
he's supplying everybody. He's the main credit card dope man, basically. He's hooking them all up.
Wyoming is another one.
Yeah, why would they move to these places instead of moving to, more metropolitan cities where it would make more sense to be able to find employees and jobs? Why?
Yeah,
because you got to pay to find out anything. You have to pay in Delaware, for instance. You have to pay to find out even the most basic information about a company. Whereas compared to like Florida, you just look up any company's name and boom, you get a whole bunch of information. And it's they give you enough so you can go on and keep it pushing. Like Delaware, they just tell you, this company, that's the name, it's here, and that's it. There's nothing else. No officers, no directors, no managers, no nothing.
We are the head of. We're number one in insurance fraud in Florida, so we do lie about some shit. So we elect motherfuckers that take medical money from little old grandmas and shit. We elect those guys, convicted of that.
After he literally does a deposition, which the deposition comes out before his fucking election, we can all see this motherfucker talking about, well, is this your signature, Mr. Scott? It could be my signature. I'm like, motherfucker, your signature.
What was it?
Shit.
What was Reagan's line? In my heart of hearts, I thought it was different, but the facts show. What was the fucking we talked about, like hostage negotiation and shit?
Yeah.
Right, like but
these fuckers aren't even good liars.
Like
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo. I did not have.
This woman, get over there.
I definitely wouldn't have relations with no woman. That's why I'm friends with Epstein. I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's like they don't even need to be good liars because it's like they're just rubbing it in our face at some points. It's like, we're lying. We're lying. The fuck you gonna do about it?
Right.
They got like whole armies
for a week and then stop, because that's pretty much where we're at now. We're cucked.
That's why we can't interview them or talk to them.
They got armies of hype people around them too. They got all these PR people and all these propaganda people propping that shit up, and people on the fringes that ain't getting they only get their news from mainstream media. They're like, oh well, they can't lie on TV, so it must be true, and it's like, no, bitch, you're being lied to. Come on, and everybody that's telling you the truth is getting booted out. They won't let you hear them.
I mean, they won't apply. The people won't apply just basic shit, right? Okay, the guy's on TV. He's telling you that you need to wear 19 masks on your face, right? Because it's keeping you safe. He's getting paid a lot of money for that. The doctor who also is trying to get on TV to tell you, like, hey, you don't need to do this, is losing his job, his profession, his license, etc.
Yes, I
You're
agree.
still listening to the person's. You still listening to the person who's getting paid a lot of money to tell you some bullshit. They don't even look at the risk and like, well, damn, hold on, let me think now. This person risking a lot. These people are risking nothing. They won't even do that on some basic shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
like basic
Kelly,
shit.
Kelly said good impression, by the way, which it was pretty spot on.
I gotta think about Clinton trying to scare someone at Halloween, going like, "Boo! Did I get you?" You know, that's I gotta think of that in my head. I answer like telemarketers and shit like that. Hell, babe, they're calling again. You know,
he shook the ghost hand twice.
I want to bring that up. I want to bring that up.
Oh my God, really? I see it.
Oh yeah, we got to bring that up.
Sometimes my impression sneaks into Matthew McConaughey. If you drop it down a register, all right. You know, like, but
yeah, I was like, okay, like, I gotta run and get that ASAP. Hold on, y'all gotta. Glory, you didn't see this? We gotta show this shit then, definitely.
All right.
This was great.
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa, what's going on here, bro?
Hi, how you doing?
You stupid!
Brother McKeon right now. What the fuck?
Oh, the president was joking around, they say.
Just a few years ago, as you all know.
Well, everyone's got a bomb once at least, right?
Yeah, joke around my ass.
He turned around like he was expecting somebody to be there. Like, let's stop. Let's stop pretending.
He's like, where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Look, it's just like he had a.
Bro, look at the way he's walking away with his head down too. Like, you know that he fucked up there.
Oh, and we got Jack Sith in the building.
What's up, Jack?
What's up, everyone?
What did you think of the air handshake? Actually, I could get there. I could get a little something.
Oh shit!
Here. I was like, just in case, I didn't know which spirit everybody was gonna be in, and I know
that looks like Buffalo Trace.
I cannot confirm nor deny, sir. I just know I know since I can't talk with my brothers out there, you know, I can do something else.
Don't worry, there's kosher weed. There's a rabbi who like makes sure it's kosher. Yeah, it exists.
I mean, you just can't get the cheese variants or whatever they are.
Wow.
Pretty much.
You can't mix your meat and dairy.
No, I got in trouble. You didn't hear about that? I got in trouble.
Did you?
When Obama.
Yeah, I gotta be on my best behavior or get that that slip. So yeah.
Obama, when he went to the White House, Marcus, when he went to the White House, that was the time Biden turned around, like, got stupefied in front of the goddamn flag and turned as like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I mean, there's so many.
Oh my God! No. The part that I remember from that Obama visit was when everybody was talking to Obama, but nobody was talking to him. So
correct.
We were looking around. We were just looking
right
around
at that moment. Yes.
Come on, man.
Biden looked like the last guy got picked for kickball. He was standing there like holding his dick, just like, oh no, I'm a president now. He's the past president. Me now president. Come see me. Come see me.
He probably was like, I don't know. Oh, thank God Barack is here because I don't know what the fuck to do.
No, that's not what he was thinking. He was like, hey, everybody, he's my friend. He's my friend. He was my friend.
President,
first.
my boss.
He's my
President,
friend.
my boss
President,
is here, everyone.
President my boss.
Hey, I got a friendship bracelet with his name on it.
President my boss and Strung Thurman, a good friend of Biden's.
When do you think
Barack had some gangster shit in his head? I mean, I know normally he doesn't talk gangster on the outside, but he's like, this punk ass motherfucker got his hand on me. Shit. The fuck up. Hey,
dude. I think of that Chappelle skit every time, man. You know the one? It's like, and we got aliens. Then he's just like going off. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I honestly think he had some Wayne Brady shit going on. Remember, like the gangster Obama. Like, I mean, you can tell that Obama is more of a gangster than he really lets on, because he's his father shouldn't have been a terrorist. I'm like, damn, that was fucking cold.
We tortured some folks.
Killing 16-year-olds now, just killing 16-year-olds. Like, fuck them.
We did kill a lot of people.
Yeah, we tortured some folks.
How little of a soul would you have to have left to be a defense contractor, CEO or CIO or chief marketing?
I'm just waiting.
For fuck's sake.
I'm just waiting for
a marketing officer for
from Lord
armaments
of War
company.
at that point. You're Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
Lord of War. You don't.
But they're creating the markets, man. They just psy up everyone, get everyone confused. Another mass formation, which people are still calling mass psychosis, which Dr. Desmond said not to do. Which makes me more think that the whole Malone thing, just even the DTRA stuff, like Glory, when you heard the DTRA stuff, did yours perk up? Because mine sure as fuck did.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for Sasha and Malia to find a new gas gig in Ukraine. Is probably going to happen next.
Oh my god.
We always talk about like how shitty YouTube is and censorship and people getting booed in and shit like that. I have an idea. We should all just fly Nazi flags in our bios across all our social media.
I mean,
handles.
then you'd be part of the Azov battalion.
And then we can say we part of Azov, and they're giving out money, dog. Like they're giving out hundreds of millions.
Bruh, this tweet is still in my drafts, but within the first week that shit popped off and everyone was like, I stand with Ukraine. I have a tweet in my drafts where it's just me lying down to the fucking Sieg Heil sign, and I'm just like, yeah, I stand with Ukraine too. And
I mean, we could use that money and we could build our own shit. We could buy a bunch of servers. We could buy a bunch of shit that we need to do our own.
Well, not to mention, it's the way the goalposts are moving too. Because first it was just straight up, don't talk about Azov. Now it's just oh, well, Azov is misunderstood. They're just nationalists. They're the only ones defending Ukraine right now. So of course they would be passionate about their nationalism.
And they don't even have control of anything. That's a real smart part of the military. It's only an isolated group.
Yeah, they're showing proudly Wolfsangel and all this fucking Nazi shit. And then
I saw someone.
Schwab's, how do they find a German person that sounds so Nazi? I'm just saying, I know German people. They don't speak like that. It's a very weird thing. It's fucking absurd, man. We live in a cartoon.
Honestly, Russell Brand does the best Klaus impersonation. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But y'all better stop because you already know I'm a Zelensky stan.
Can you guys guess where people?
Did you see what he said? Did you see what he said? He said he was fucking Bill Murray. This is why I feel like Bill Murray. Get the fuck out of here with that. The fuck out of here.
If you scroll down,
I don't even get that.
One chart that really shows everything.
I mean, he must feel like this production is like Ghostbusters 2, I guess. I don't know.
Was he Bill Murray from Caddyshack? I mean, is he trying to hunt a gopher with dynamite? I mean, I don't. Which Bill
Groundhog
Murray?
Day.
There you go.
Groundhog Day.
Chart right there.
I think that was it.
This chart. Have you guys seen this? This is fucking insane, dude.
Want me to read
Vaccinated versus wait. How should Canada respond to the Ukraine invasion?
Sanctions on Russia.
Yes. Vaccinated versus unvaccinated? This is there's only two people? That's what they're not even doing genders no more. It's just this. This is what we're doing.
But this makes sense though, because it's gotten to the point where everything has become on a political line.
It's even color coded for you.
Yeah, you got
it is. You got blue.
You got the blue eyes, blonde hair. That color scheme that they're going with.
Wow.
I mean, if you're the respondent,
I did not see that coming.
Blue,
the Ukraine flag.
If you're yellow,
not
unvaccinated, you're bad.
Yep.
Wow. Let me read off some of these. It says respondents who said they received 3 or more shots. respondents who said they were unvaccinated.
Do y'all remember the joke that someone put out like on TikTok early in the thing that was like, I'm going to get all 5 shots and I'm going to get that Infinity vaccine, right? Be able to snap everyone out of existence.
When Rose Twitter
Like-
was posting their Pfizer like arm tattoos,
Mhm.
that's when I was like, yeah, we're fucked.
I, for one, thoroughly appreciate the influx of people that made sure to photograph their entire CDC card without blurring out the lot numbers or the company
Right?
or any of that.
Or the date where it's administered and like,
yeah, it
I
was
mean,
very helpful to some. I
Mother's
see-
maiden name,
I see you
social
guys.
security number.
allegedly, Glory, allegedly.
I don't think I've ever seen polls where, I mean, like real polls, like Twitter polls, yes, but you know,
Mhm.
maybe a YouTube poll, but a real poll that has like 86%. This is ridiculous. Like 86-13, imposing
'cause
tougher economic
to me,
sanctions.
it's like none of
Oh, I
the
guess
above
it's
is
behind.
like the dead ass is what I would answer. Would be none of the above because why the fuck would we want to? Why do we need more shit?
Look at this
Right.
part. Do not don't
I
know
mean-
none of the above. So that means only literally like 2 to 3% of the people who are 3+ vaccinated don't have an opinion on this, which tells me these people are heavily influenced by
Right.
left wing mainstream media.
Yeah, like what's the sample size on this anyway? What the 8 people that they're still friends with on Twitter? Like what?
That's,
You
that's
know?
what I was wondering too. What's interesting is Exos, their original poll, you cannot get the graphic from their site. They copyrighted it, which I means they think they knew that it would blow up. So I had to find this. This was what I think Jimmy Dore actually aired this part.
Used.
This was a follow-up study where they were able to just plot it themselves so that people could see it.
Right.
This is insane.
You know, the other part is they said for this is like they asked people who received 3 shots, and it's just like how big is your sample size, right?
Jeez, I hope this isn't real. I hope that's not real, Stevie. People are
gotta be
getting
14.
tattoos of the jab.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I believe
Yeah, that happened.
Twitter,
That
dude.
happened. Yeah, that happened already.
Oh, bro, there's motherfuckers buying like Azov merch. I mean,
On Amazon.
No.
On Amazon.
Yeah, it's on
Wow.
Amazon.
Mhm. You can get a little Azov like hoodie for your pit bull. You can get like, you can get anything. Like they got that. I'm sure there's like panties and shit. I'm sure there's everything.
There is
They
not
got
a
all of that
single
shit.
existence that deserves that kind of treatment. I'm just saying.
There's
Like
so much of that crap on Amazon. They're renaming it Amazov. So
Nice.
Amazov, right?
Wow.
I've seen it. I've seen it
This
with
is getting
these.
insane. Yeah, no shortage of stupid tattoos. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I still see people walking around with 95 Knicks are gonna win the championship.
I mean, you just want to tell those people.
That's a shot at
I
you.
get a lot of like
some help.
egg soup. Like people that get like Japanese, like they think they've
I
got
heard.
like a kanji, and then like you go and you're like, no, dude, that's like duck soup. You got duck soup on your arm.
Right. Oh.
Damn, dude.
Is it
Sorry to
the
hear about
Rose
that.
Twitter that's the one that's really bad with this? Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
I dude,
yeah,
I
they
can't
were-
I can't keep up with all the emoji labels. What the fuck is the sunflower? I still don't know.
I'm
The
trying
fuck
to
is that
figure out,
shit?
what does it mean with these people who have red eyes or blue eyes now? Because I'm seeing a lot of that too.
Laser eyes?
The laser.
Laser eyes. What does that
Oh,
mean?
the laser eyes is a Bitcoin meme for like something. I don't even know.
whoa, wait. You can't tell me they co-opted laser eyes. That shit has been around since like Rage Comics days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's what I thought.
Yeah, they co-opted
but
they co-opted that.
No one owns.
Who's doing
laser
it now?
eyes.
Yeah.
I refuse to
Next
get it.
next week they're gonna be with the fire shot background. They're gonna grab that filter and use that, and then they're gonna co-opt that.
And what does that mean? I'm still trying to figure out. I don't know.
Can
what
we
none of
get
this
someone
shit
from
means.
CNN to Ukraine to sniff a backpack? I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Preferably a red one.
Oh,
Turning out
that
false
smells like
flags
ass.
every
That
2
smells like an
seconds.
ass. Oh.
Yeah, they're turning
This
out
shit over
false
there.
flags every 2 seconds there. It's like, first it's like, oh,
Damn,
the
Indy.
Bucha massacre. Then
You
it's, oh,
had
the
to bring that
Russians
up,
bombed the
Indy.
train
Yeah,
station. And
yeah,
it's
they did.
reportedly
Mayor
even
dead
worse
ass
than the
Indy,
comes out.
Bucha massacre. Now
Indy,
you
that
just have
hurts.
Zelensky saying like,
Still,
oh, tens of thousands have died in this war. Like, what? You just pulled that shit right out your ass? Like, what's up?
Hamza.
Hamza.
What's up, bro?
Oh yeah, we thought. I'm surprised Uncle Warren didn't get in on that too. I know he's probably a Knickerbocker fan too.
Dude, I live 2 blocks away from the Barclays Center. Brooklyn for life. OYFE. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't give a fuck about none of these basketball teams around here, man.
Hey, look,
I'm a
if
New
we could
Orleans
take-
Pelicans guy.
All I
so.
hear is sports.
Sports.
I'm with you, Jack.
Sports.
Look, if we could take a quick commercial break, Marcus, I would really like to show this video. I talked about it yesterday. This shit still makes me laugh. It's funny as shit. I'm about to put it on the screen. This will be our quick commercial break brought to you by Judge Mathis.
Oh wow.
Judge Mathis.
You object to the room, or you object to being the crackhead?
To being a crackhead.
Okay, I didn't know. Used to be, maybe?
Never.
Maybe a little bit at a time.
Never.
One rock.
Never. Tried it one time.
I knew I had something going on. I can smell it. I can smell it. Anybody come in here having used crack, I can smell it. Smell a little crack in you. Might have been 30 years ago. The more I look at you, the more you smell like crack.
Oh my god.
Here, I got one. We'll double that one up. Two-parter. Two-parter.
Yo, Marcus has had me dying. Go ahead, Reed.
It's in there. You'll find it. It's in the chat.
Cashback match. We match all of the cash back you earn at the end of your first year.
Yeah, cash back, baby.
They ain't matching shit.
Banks. Banks. Brought to you by Banks.
Brought to you by BlackRock
I'm about to
and
pull it up.
Vanguard.
I'm about to pull it up.
Literally just about everything.
I think this is that same lady.
Oh yeah, I got it here, Reed. Hold on one second. I'm about to pull it up.
Stop. Give me 50 cents. Fresh. PC, baby.
Oh, you got
50 cents for a whole loaf. You can't even beat that.
Okay.
Nah, don't touch it. Give me the bread first. You give me the bread, I give you
I got you, Mo. I ain't got
Give
no
me
change.
the bread, I give you the bread. 50 cents. Don't. Hold fast. You don't even know I needed this bread. I'm selling this bread.
Let's see 50 cents.
Thank you, bro.
Let me get that bread.
Yeah,
Brooklyn!
Fucking shit's funny.
Nah,
You
that's
ain't getting
that's some
shit.
straight Yonkers type shit right there.
That's fucking great. Oh.
Marcus, you still got the video playing, Marcus?
Mhm.
Oh, shit. Do I? Yeah, let me stop that shit.
What happened to the bread?
See, that's what they call the old bread switcho change.
Was the bread smoked?
Where you get change and you keep the bread and you tell the dude behind the counter to fuck off. That's how
Right.
that scheme
Right.
works. Classic. It's a classic. And you keep the bread and you tell the counter to fuck off.
I was like, somebody got
Right.
it.
Someone's got an echo.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh, man. You just gotta laugh.
Someone's
I got headphones, so not me.
Yeah, I got
Is that echo or am I
headphones.
smoking crack? What happened?
Does someone
I
have
smoke.
the stream on another tab or?
Probably
Okay, it went
Chris.
away.
Chris always got the stream on another tab. Always
They should
Chris.
call BlackRock.
Oh, yeah,
It might have been me.
It's because
I think it was me. I'm
Nah, it
pumping.
was Chris.
I was pumping desktop
His
audio.
stream so that he can catch the first 3 seconds before it hits everyone else.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like a time
saw,
machine.
Saw Perry Mason and solved it. Refound it.
I think it was me. I think I had my audio pumped with stuff, so like
Dude, I'm
so I
gonna
could
try
do
that
sound
bread
bites
trick.
and whatnot.
It's
You gonna
like
try
I'm
that
going
bread
to the
trick?
Bronx. I'm going up to the Bronx tomorrow. I'm gonna try that shit with the bread, man, because I want some bread and I want 50 cents. So
That's fucking great.
You know, I'm gonna
Are
put
you
it in
sitting
my
there? Are you
retirement
sitting
fund.
there with like 4 or 5 monitors going like "Oh Boy" from Swordfish or something, Reef?
Who me?
Swordfish.
Who me?
Oh,
what do you mean, bro?
I
What are you
knew
trying to talk about? What do you mean?
Shit right there.
I knew that it.
Like that's hey man, I gotta see shit. I gotta see it. You know?
Now you got to type some stuff real fast. While I'm not going to go into that scene.
Oh, with the Matrix and whatnot. Yep.
No. The swordfish scene. The audition, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Absolutely.
Oh, that scene.
Yeah.
We know that's how
I'm
he
down for
films
that.
Every show. That's how he films every show. The whole entire 3 hours.
Swordfish was, when you really think about it, they were literally justifying the lesser of evils of fighting terrorism by mass killing people. That's what that movie was. Like that literally, when I saw the person go out of the school bus or whatever on that's when I knew the whole movie was fucked. Like it was fucking fucked.
Oh shoot! I gotta check back over what's going on Rockfin.
Hold on, I'll hack into the mainframe. Don't worry about it. I'm top secret right now. Like I got it. Pretty much.
Someone with porn.
You can't do it. Yep.
There you are.
Then your new Rink. Now from now on, Reef is gonna be Link. I'm gonna be like Link. We need a
which is the what's the tech guy in Ocean's 11? That guy's cool too. At the bubble gum and shit.
Donnie.
You need like the intense hacking music too, like the
yeah. Or it's just like synth wave, you know.
What's hilarious is the real life version is so fucking boring that they could never put it in a movie. They actually did pretty
sudo apt-get Python. Robot does a pretty decent job actually.
Bro,
yeah, it's pretty much what it is.
Fix missing.
Well, especially now with hacking, like with hacking, all the tools are written. So like it's not even actual writing code. It's just like getting
you just download it. Go to GitHub. It's right there. Go to GitHub. Download.
Allegedly,
download the fucking Loik.
I was
apply to Raspberry Pi.
Hey, Glory, you see what's going on over here?
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Is that Drunkle Marcus?
Hey, he's coming. He's coming out. Y'all done called him.
Drunkle.
He's coming.
Nice.
He gonna crash the stream.
Again.
Marcus will drink up all the Hennessy you got on your shelf. Is that what's going on?
All right,
a
little something.
Little something. What you want? I want that purple drink.
Look, I just got
that purple.
I'm Carcass Mage, and this is the Matrix. This Matrix bar. What? You shut up. Nobody talking to you. Drunkle.
Who the hell made this shit childproof? Fuck.
They made it. It's for medicinal. That's how you know it's medicinal. You know, when it's got that childproof thing on it. You know.
Yeah.
Some kids will go up in the cabinet and get that booze and think it's like some soda pop or something, and then they crack it open and it ain't soda pop. You a drunk little kid now.
So, this grape juice is delicious.
That's when child services shows up. That's when the fun begins.
Well, that's when you need to have that Yin Yang Twins meme. Ain't no Kool-Aid in my cup. Give me that Grey Goose.
So, Glory, let me ask you, since you were in DC, so you met up with a bunch of people. I mean, what's the public's reception down there to, like, Assange, and what is it like down there? Is there a bunch of people telling you get lost, go fuck yourself? Like,
yeah, the reception is definitely not as kind as if we were doing the protest somewhere else. I remember we were setting up at the DOJ, and like some dude walked by and he flicked us off and started screaming like "traitor, traitor," and we're all and then I just remember yelling at him. So how does it feel to be a massive bootlicker then? Because Assange is an American. And it's like you get some of that. Mostly you get a lot of stares, and like people recording and stuff. There are a couple people every once in a while that come over and like ask for information and are receptive to it. I remember it was actually in front of the White House. There were like a couple of teenage girls that came over and they were like asking about Assange and stuff, and we handed them like flyers because we were taking like why do we care about Assange videos and stuff, so they got curious. And then we did, I believe it was Friday night we were there. No, Saturday night we were there. We did a vigil outside Merrick Garland's house, and there were a couple people in the neighborhood that looked interested. There was one dude that came up and asked for more information, but he did look like, pretty fed-ish. So like,
look at the boots. Agents.
Yeah. But also,
Hair
in
Oakleys.
general, there are people that are receptive to it. So,
Hello,
Be careful
fellow
of people that have tactical
protesters.
pens.
Yeah. Well, and there was also Secret Service like watching us during the vigil outside Merrick Garland's house too. They were just like in a car watching us the whole time and like didn't get out once. And then at one point, because they didn't want us directly in front of the house, so we were like in the street cross. But at the end of the vigil, I couldn't help myself, so like I crossed the street to go directly in front of his house, and then I like flicked it off and stuff, and they didn't do anything. So I was like, all right, calm. But
I think we just gotta like step up the game and just start like skipping around and doing like crazy ass shit, because people are just gonna be like, what the fuck are these fuckers skipping around this fucking house for? And then
honestly,
they gotta ask.
Yeah. I mean, look, the best stuff is the stuff that like, look, this is gonna be a reality show. Outperform fucking everyone. Like, the more eyeballs you get on you, the better.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that's why, like, we're screaming these chants throughout the streets of DC because, like, even though the turnout from End the Damn Wars wasn't as much as like other protests and stuff, we were making noise through the streets and getting like a lot of attention, and we were saying shit like, oh man, I was so proud of myself for the chant I came up with. I was like, how do you spell terrorist? NATO. And we were shouting like, free Palestine, free Yemen, disband NATO. Like, what else were we saying? Free Assange, of course. And then we were saying shit like sanctions kill. We were like, Biden, what do you say? How many kids did you kill today? Like all that stuff. And and also like the signature, fuck the FBI, as we were passing the J. Edgar Hoover building, fuck the CIA, which is always good. So like, it's nice to be able to go through the streets of DC at the heart of all that shit and be like shouting it and attracting all that attention. So yeah,
I need to just find an event sometime and just meet you all there or something. I've been wanting to do that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what sucks for us outside of any of those like metropolitan places. We feel like we can't do shit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like halfway between BFE and just another BFE that's called something else.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah, and like the thing is like most DC organizers and activists
I'm in a
are
half-horse
such a
town.
bubble that like, I hate to say this, but they like don't do much shit. So it's like, you have to get the outsiders to come in. And the thing is, because we're outsiders, obviously we can't come in all the time, like we're lucky if we can make it to DC more than once a year. So
correct.
I mean,
because not everybody wants to fly Spirit, right? Like shit is not cheap.
I know. I got lucky because I had travel credits from previous flights, and because like the one thing about this whole like pandemic inflation shit is it's made travel service so fucking shitty that they're just giving people so many travel credits and shit. Like, I remember on my flight to DC, they had to restart the plane. Yeah, they had to restart the plane. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding. Dead ass, because all the TVs were down. So they were like,
They had to turn the plane on and then back off again.
No, I'm not joking. Because like,
That's some window. Was it running Vista?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
so the
Windows
TV
Windows
because
12.
The TVs weren't on.
It wasn't
and
running
then
in
the
me because I
captain
call
came-
bullshit on anyone ever installing that. Sorry.
Yeah, the captain came on over in the intercom and he was like, all right, guys, so as you can see, our entertainment system isn't working. And because of that, it's actually interfering with our communication system. So we're just going to have to reboot the entire plane here. And then, like, when
Did you hear like a dong? Like a Windows
I
boot?
didn't hear anything.
Y'all
but,
couldn't
like,
do this
I
on the
knew-
ground? Like,
No,
sorry.
they did. Okay. I should mention that they did this on the ground. They did this before the plane took off, but like literally they shut the whole plane down. Like the AC went off, and then all the lights went off, and then because all the lights went off, the emergency lights came on. So we were sitting in this plane with like no AC and emergency lights like on the seats on. So that's how you knew it was like a legit reboot of the plane. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting, and I'm just
Sometimes
sitting there
that's
like
the-
I was
you know,
sitting
the
there the
gate
whole
door?
time like, of
Yeah.
course, it's the fucking flight that's taking me to DC. That's going to be the one where they have to reboot the entire fucking plane.
I can't believe, like, so you know that's happened in the air by somebody. You know, you're sitting there, you're watching Stella Got a Groove Back on the little TV. It cuts out, you know, and then they got to reset that whole fucking plane in the air. Dude, you'd be terrified. You'd be like, oh.
And then the guy comes out playing a guitar.
On the way
talking
back,
about
too,
this.
there was hella fucking on the way back too. There was hella fucking turbulence because like Los Angeles decided to have some fucking Krusty Krab pizza ass weather with how windy it was. Like,
Krusty Krab pizza.
Pioneers used to drive these babies for miles.
bro,
You
like
know?
you know that scene where he's like Krusty Krab, yeah,
Crab
fucking, like,
pizza
wind in it.
is the
Yeah,
pizza. You win. So, yep,
and there's
I
like
remember
all
that
kinds
scene.
of wind in his face and shit, and like that
Yep.
wind. That's what Los Angeles was like the day that I was flying in there.
Oh.
See, that turbulence doesn't bother me because I just pretend like I'm riding that school bus back in Mississippi back in the day, all them holes in the roads and
Oh,
shit
me
like
too,
that.
man.
I don't mind
Yeah.
turbulence. Yeah.
You ain't got
I
no
don't mind
I'm in a
turbulence
plane
as
and
long
like that
as
shit's
it's on the
going.
way
I'm like,
down. Turbulence
this
is
is a
okay as
shitty
long as it's
bus.
on the way down for me. If it's like when we're in the middle of the flight, then I'm just like, nah, brother, can we not?
Like, the person sitting next to Glory on the plane though was in for a ride though, you know. So what are you here for? You don't want to know. I'm sure. Was just fucking headphones on and just ignore everyone. That's what I would have
I think it
done.
was after my third TSA groping that I really figured out I was on some kind of list.
Hmm.
I'm
They
glad
sit you-
I'm not on any list. I just
TSA
get weird stories because weird shit always happens to me on the planes.
Look, leave
They
it.
would
New
pull me
York.
aside. They're like, "Sir, what's this?" And I'm like, "Do you really want me to explain anatomy to you, sir?"
That TSA agent was right next to Glory. I guarantee.
He's like,
Bro,
I
You
told
know?
y'all I wear
I'd be
size
on the-
15s. What you
I
think it
know.
is?
When I went to DC last year, because I always get held up for these random TSA checks, but when I went to DC last year, they had to check my backpack. And I forgot that the way I had packed, I had put like my whole ass Guy Fawkes mask in my backpack. So as
I
they're
got a better
searching-
one.
So as TSA is searching through my backpack, they
Oh, so
literally
you
pull out the
full-time
fucking Guy Fawkes mask, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
No,
yeah.
everybody.
There was a hardware hacking village, and I knew one of the guys throwing it one year, and he had all of his like flight cases completely loaded with like soldering irons, wire.
Oh yeah. Got the hacker
capacitors.
right on in there. Yep.
Oh, and he had all
Yep.
that shit, just like X-rayable, like and all that. So of course his shit's gets inspected. He had 3 different TSA notes in there. They reinspected.
RFID pullers. Yep. All that.
I
Yep.
I used to work IT here in the city, and so basically what it is, you get your parts and stuff in the morning, and you have tools with you, so you can fix like laptops and desktops, and you go around these corporate buildings. But you also have to. I also had to go to the federal building that's over here, and basically the routine is you call the person and they come down to security, and then they escort you through. But you still have to go through the metal detector, right? So I have my bag with like motherboards and like wiring and tools and stuff, and every time they'd look in that shit, they'd be looking at the thing, and then they look at me with that side eye like, okay, thinking I'm that dude that blew up the
I always
federal
travel with the
building in
people
Oklahoma
that
City.
and Warren, you'd appreciate this. Well, anyone who's worked with any kind of like tech, the fact that you're not allowed to bring liquids on, but you can bring a full lithium battery, which even the postal service has different shipping requirements because of pressurization of cabin. That shit can fucking explode. But again,
nothing like a lithium fire. Nothing like a lithium fire. Keep in mind what's in all those Teslas
but
too.
Dude, someone packed a bomb near his junk, so we got to grope everyone.
Yeah.
down, apparently.
You see what Baba Yaga said?
Mm.
I've had my palm swabbed.
Yeah,
for bomb material.
actually, I had been out the range before, so it came back positive, and I had to literally explain to the guy that I was a safety trainer or whatever.
Right. Like, I remember my buddies would go to, what is it, HackCon or whatever up in, I think it's up in New York, somewhere around in there. Right. And it's like, they would be like, you don't bring any electronics. I don't even care if you brought your Tamagotchi from 1991. Don't be bringing that. They'll hack that shit. They'll get up all your information. And they literally have like a big TV screen, like in the middle of like the expo suite. And it's just full of people's like information that someone's grabbed from that day. Right. Just, scrolling through like
on the wall of sheep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So just so you guys know, if you ever go to like a hacking convention, just because like that could randomly happen, but you ever go there and if you see a thing like a big screen with stuff going down it showing like you've been owned, that's wall of sheep that's showing people that have done clear text stuff over the known compromised Wi-Fi. Like the Wi-Fi literally dead ass says this is pirate territory. All your shit's gonna get fucked. There's like 18 things you got to click to like fuck it up. And
get in it, right?
To do it.
Yep.
God bless them.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, Stevie, I don't know if that would work, but
they give raises. I'll go be
I'm
a TSA guard.
Yeah. But I mean, all you gotta do is bring that little boop boop wand over there, right? Like the boop boop. Boop boop.
They swabbed you. What, they think you were making bombs with your toes or something?
And no, I'm saying like the fucking what's that little metal detector arm? Little metal detector wand. Boop boop.
I've seen hatchets get through security, like ceramic hatchets.
Oh yeah.
Have
you ever seen the stuff TSA actually pulled, and it's all like mall ninja shit? It's the funniest shit.
Yeah.
But
God forbid you go through with a fucking bottle of water.
Right. Someone trying to bring a batleth through.
I've
fucking
been to a conference once, and I know TSA took one of those bottles because it was you can probably guess what it was, Marcus.
Yeah, I know what it was.
Yeah.
Jack, where with my background, I'm not saying shit.
They took my crown. I was pissed. I was like, God damn.
They took my smokes. They took my bourbon.
I'm an explosive expert. I can't say shit.
You know what? My family did once manage to take 24 Jamaican patties past TSA and through U.S. Canadian Customs.
I was about to say, your family smuggling Mexicans on the plane? What?
No, not. I don't know why Mexican came out. I meant Jamaican patties.
Did you hear the story about how they wouldn't let the Jamaican patties be called patties in Canada? Did you hear that story? That they weren't allowed to be called patties there, and they went through a whole legal fucking battle just so they can call them patties. It's a fucking patty. The fuck you doing? Like,
I didn't know that the state of pattyism was such a contentious topic.
Best fucking street food ever.
Yeah.
Spicy beef.
It's just spicy beef, pastry. Yeah, it's
flaky
great.
Crust. Like nothing beats it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll take that.
Dulces.
Me and Sai were talking about ackee and saltfish the other day. I've been watching too much, like fucking, little fucking brown stew chicken, little oxtail soup. You know what I'm saying?
No. You want to know what the elite move is?
It's midnight.
Bro, the elite move when you go to any Jamaican restaurant, like real Jamaican restaurant, is you get like whatever chicken or whatever steak you want, or like whatever beef, but you can ask to pour different gravy on the rice. So we would be like, okay, can I get jerk chicken but with oxtail gravy on the rice? And they would do it. It's like, oh, you feel so elite when you do it.
Yeah.
Oxtail gravy sounds so good right now.
Yeah, it's
Or you put the
My
brown
roots curry
stew
on the side.
gravy on the rice. Or you
yeah.
You know what's gonna happen with that, and I'm just saying, every yuppie white person who's in there is gonna be like, "What did she say?"
Shut up and eat it. Shut up. Open your face.
They're gonna be writing that shit down to copy it. So next time
Damn right.
Eat it, you're racist.
I know.
Yup.
You said
Yup.
oxtail gravy, right? How do you spell that? Is that
Yuppie white people don't even make it that far though, because they're like, oh my god, you eat like the tail of the ox? Like, is that really like it's
Dude.
really the tail? And it's like,
But you
There was
yes.
shout out.
Or you forget the dumb ones because there's a couple like, oh, really? I didn't know it was actually a
Gainesville.
the whole time.
Gainesville.
Bro.
Jamaican restaurant in Gainesville. Shout out. Their fucking brown stew chicken, you can eat the fucking bones. I didn't even care.
I have family members that eat the bones. It's like I be sucking on them shits too, and like
It was
these damn Americans, like I'll just be minding my own business, eating like some chicken or oxtail, and they'll be looking at me like, damn, like you're eating it so savagely, and I'm like, bitch, if we was in fucking Jamaica, you would be roasted for how you're eating your shit.
Fuck
Look at all
yeah.
the meat left on that shit.
And they make all the
Fucking-
noises too. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
get that toothpick out at the end. Doing that one bone move where you
Yeah,
just got
Hamza
and
knows
just
what's
one
up.
bone left.
Hamza knows
You know,
what's up. Like
You could, dude, it was cooked for like, I don't know, 3 days.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's
the
how I
fucking
learned how to
bones are
eat.
so soft. You just like, they're
Bro,
gone. Just eat
and
the
they
whole
soak
thing.
up they soak up all that flavor. Like,
Mhm.
bro, we're trying to be resourceful here. Like,
Yep.
and you could boil,
Like-
and then you could boil
I mean,
all
how
the
else do you
bones.
make greens without like some oxtail
Exactly.
or some bones? Like,
I have no idea what you mean about the Jamaican. No clue. No idea.
oh my god,
No idea.
Bro, there was this one lady where, because in Broward County they had this thing at this park called the Jerk
Correct,
Festival.
Kelly.
Which is, it's exactly what you think it is. A bunch of stands selling jerk food and there's like reggae everywhere. Awesome. So like, I was talking about like, I think my mom was having a conversation with like one of her neighbors, and we brought up the jerk festival. We're like, yeah, we're gonna go through the jerk festival and like get some good food. And she was like, oh, you mean like beef jerky? And obviously this is like a white woman, and I'm just like, this mother.
No idea. They don't know. No fucking clue.
I know.
I'm wanting that breadfruit straight from the fire. That's what I'm wanting. Give me that shit. I'll take that shit.
Bro. Get that shit
You know?
roasted and fried. Put on the
Mhm.
breadfruit song. Roast that fry.
Dude, I'm down.
If you're in Gainesville, and so that must mean they must know you real good at that restaurant.
Oh yeah, I was there every week. Like every week I was there. I was like, yes, please, I'll take that and that and that and that, and give me more fried plantain. Yes, please. Like, I'm down.
Like, whenever my
Between that and the Puerto Rican nanny I had, I got fat as fuck. That's what happened. I was eating that fucking tostones, imofongo.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? Gandules. Like, what do you fucking want?
Caribbean food. I respect it.
Fuck yes.
Bro, and
I
it's
got the
like-
sofrito in the fridge. I got that shit right now. The sazone. I got that sazone and shit. You know.
Anytime there was a good yardie that would start cooking up food, there was this one like amazing barbecue who would get out the smoker every Wednesday at this place like off of Highway 27. Like anytime there would be one of those people setting up, like my family would literally make sure to get their personal phone number, because damn well that they're showing up 2 hours past whatever time they say they open. So you got to be like, hey yo, don't no, I'm not going when you open up. When you get there and when the food gets hot, give me a call and maybe right there. Like
Like, people don't understand Southern food, soul food in general. You cannot exist like without black food, Hispanic food. Like, none of that. Southern food doesn't exist without that. Like they just don't. And y'all need to go back and fucking learn that shit. You talking about the fucking gumbo and shit? That shit's African words. Go back.
Bro, it's like
go fucking all the way back.
Soul food and like Latin American food and Caribbean food, like Jamaican food, it's got so much history in and of itself.
Barbecue itself. Barbecue itself.
Bro, barbacoa. It's like like Jamaica's
have you guys ever had
national-
beignets?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are
Jamaica's
dope.
national dish.
I dated
African
a French girl that
saltfish.
could make those.
They have the saltfish as a means to
I got
because
really
it's an
fat.
easy way to preserve the saltfish, so that way slaves can eat it because it's a cheap way to preserve the fish.
Just like with
and
ribs.
then they mix it with akis, which come from West Africa, which is where the slaves come from, and then you put it in with some local homegrown peppers and stuff, and boom, Jamaica national dish right there.
That fucking all that shit be slow grown and shit right out in fucking Moko's fucking.
That's why we call it yard food.
For it, yes.
Just like
the
very.
ingredients right
I'm about to go get some
yard.
food if y'all don't stop, because I'm getting fucking hungry right now. I haven't hardly ate anything.
Yep. Oh,
I ain't ate shit all day.
You know.
All I've had was chicken nuggets and tartar sauce.
Oh, you better be cooking that shit outside. I ain't letting you cook those chitlins inside. That ain't happening. That's going outside.
Because they wouldn't let the slaves eat the normal meat. So
Chicken itself. Chicken itself. Like the whole
That's why
because
ribs
you could
even
grow your
exist.
own chickens. Like
ribs exist because like literally that was the
Yes.
scraps they were given. And
That was
they
the
turned it into
scraps.
Something amazing.
Yeah.
All of that shit. Greens.
White people don't want the tail of the ox, so of course they're
White-
gonna leave it from the slaves.
white
We just
people-
gonna take it and make it one of the greatest
Arroz
fucking
con
dishes ever.
pollo. There we go.
Oh, absolutely.
Pollo, bro.
Oh, get out of here.
Staple.
And I used
Like-
to, hey,
Santa Boca.
I used to before I came in Hebrews, like I used to fuck up some shrimp. So don't get me wrong.
Scrimps and strawberries. I'm very much down for
a nice
those.
fucking crawfish boil. Ooh.
That sounds delicious.
Really? Why you doing me
I
like
agree
that,
with you.
Hamza? Why you doing me like that, bro?
Don't talk like that. Indy's gonna be right now trying to buy him for like fucking $50 a fucking pound. Get the fuck out of here. I want a sack. Go give me a sack right now. We'll throw the corn up in it. You know, we'll do it up. Or we could go Korean with it, right? And deep fat fry those little poor man's lobsters whole, right? Take them out, cover them in gochujang, and then just shove it in your table. Like, we can go that way too with those things.
Fried catfish.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's my people right there.
I used to do
and you know
tempura
what?
shrimp and then
Something
eat the
great
heads.
about eating catfish is it's great for the environment because catfish are invasive. Throwing that little
Have you ever
thing in
done?
there.
Have you ever done shaved catfish? Anyone ever done that? Right. So what they do is that you take the fillet. It's just fried catfish, but what they do is they slice the fillet in half, and then they slice the fillet in half again and again and again to where you get like a real thin bit of fish and all breading. So it's just so you could get as much carbs per fish as possible. You know, like, but it's good shit. I mean, land of Thibodeau and Boudreaux. We don't fuck around with our obesity. We just do it up.
I'm gonna answer Hamza's question. I don't know why white people hate greens. It's because they ain't cooking it right.
They ain't the white people have been taking the turnips forever. You know the greens are good too. Throw those mustards in there, little collards, that smoked turkey neck. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, and if you're from
still
the
got the Brussels
Caribbean,
sprouts.
callaloo with peppers, bro, not just collard greens, some good callaloo. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
it's
that's some
like-
Yankee shit right there that people don't like.
Well,
greens.
and like organ
Well, it's
meats, man. I
funny.
grew up eating organ meats because
Oh, yeah.
our
Boudin.
grandmother, what they would,
bro, it's
they would-
funny
what they
because
could afford.
my mom is like from the Midwest. So, and you know, like my mom is where I got my white half from. So like she told me how, like, you know, growing up, she couldn't eat fish. She used to hate it. But then like when she met my dad and like she started
She
learning.
must have been the white part of the Midwest.
Yeah,
The
she
black part, they was eating everything.
yeah. Oh, she was born in Minnesota and grew up in Wisconsin.
Oh,
so.
well, that's northern Midwest is different than
Yeah,
southern
nah.
Midwest.
I'm talking like when I say like white side, I mean like my mom has the proper Scandinavian look.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's funny because she.
You
used to
talking
tell
about
me-
Casper style?
She used to tell me how much, and I love fish too, but she used to tell me how much she hated fish growing up. She could never eat it. But then when she met my dad and like she started learning how to cook from like my grandpa and my grandma and my dad, and like she picked up all the Jamaican cooking tips. Now she loves it. And it's just like, yep, that like case in fucking point if you don't love fish, if you don't love greens, it's because you're not cooking it right. Like,
Both my grandparents could cook so amazingly well that like the family would like go out of their way to like do everything, to like do all like the chores we could do for them and all that stuff just to eat their food.
Yeah.
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 That's what it was like with my grandpa. My grandpa was such a good cook. It was such a good cook. Like anytime he would be making oxtail stew, or especially stewpies, when he would be making those, it would or like a nice roast, it would be like, all right, nobody bother grandpa. We got this, grandpa. You do your thing in your kitchen. We'll be back here in 5 hours ready to eat. And it's just like, yeah. Like,
Well, it's also the motherfuckers who can't afford to go eat out every night. We gotta cook our own shit. You know? Like, and especially out here in the South, most of them had to fucking grow their own shit too. They couldn't even go buy it.
well, and
You know?
like, yeah, the one pot stuff is like so good. Like the one pot stews are so good for like meal
Oh,
prep
yeah.
and shit. Like I make one pot of stew peas, and that's good for like an entire
Yep.
plus sharing it with people. Like anytime
Yep.
I do fucking mutual aid shit, it like stew peas was
Well, it's
always
like-
my go-to.
It's like gandules and rice. Like every culture's got rice and beans. Every one of them's got one. Pick one. Red beans and rice.
Little
Like
rice on peas and put a Scotch
Yeah.
bonnet in there and make sure and
Oh,
pray to
fuck
God
yeah.
that
I'm
just
doesn't-
gonna bring up
pray
Scotch
to God
bonnet.
that the Scotch bonnet doesn't.
what do you mean?
hurt.
What do you
I don't
mean?
have to say,
What do you
I don't
mean?
have to say anything. Glory is just she's saying everything I need to be said, and I'm drooling and shit over
Okay,
here. Cause
what do you
I know
mean?
I'm really
What are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? That Scotch bonnet? I have no idea what you mean.
I can feel the heat.
What do you
through the
mean?
screen.
Fucking, I'm making hot
I
sauce
just took a
tomorrow.
second
You kidding me?
You know,
Like-
you know what the irony is? Like all that is like food that what we love is food that they look down upon, and then now you go to the store to buy some oxtails because they found out about it. The price
Yeah.
is fucking ridiculous.
What ridiculous?
Toast was using it.
Yeah. Cause some fucking, Jamie Oliver and shit went to Jamaica one time. You know?
Like, I remember like chicken livers, like all kinds of liver, beef liver. Like we had all kinds of like different, like offal and
Yeah.
or however you
like
pronounce
Mhm.
it.
beef tongue.
Yeah.
Or shellfish.
Lingua.
Because like
Yeah.
shellfish, because the thing with
Oysters.
shellfish is like it's so hard to get into. Like people wouldn't want to get into them to begin with, but now that people discovered how good they are, it's like, oh, now it's a fucking huge thing.
Right. Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, we found that lobsters used to be one of the cheapest things to get. Like in New York and shit, lobsters are fucking
cheap.
Oysters used to be the expensive thing. Now it's the other fucking way around.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But I like that's the thing with me in the South. Like, people talk about that flag being the heritage. No, the fucking restaurant, dude. That shit's way more of a fucking something to be proud of. Like, so like, what are you doing with that cornbread if not fucking celebrating that shit? That's fucking worth it.
Wiggly, wiggly.
That's fucking what I'm talking about. I went there last week, got me some fucking milk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I grew up with Wiggly Wiggly. We have one in my
Now I'm craving
hometown
Waffle
growing up.
House.
Yeah,
Love
Waffle
the
House.
pig.
Oh, bro,
You
Waffle
call it
House
the
is
pig,
such
too.
a staple,
The pig.
bro.
Yeah.
Bro, you
Like,
remember, bro, what was that
Pig
video where like when the riots in 2020 were happening and like the riots hit Atlanta and there's that one video of like, all the fucking feds and rioters like getting ready to smash up the Waffle House.
Yes,
And they're like,
was.
no, don't touch the Waffle House. Leave the Waffle House alone.
House alone. Damn
That's holy
right.
ground. That's like in Highlander. You don't mess with the Waffle House in a riot. You leave that the fuck alone because you're gonna eat there later after the riot.
I mean, everyone's gonna
Because,
be eating there after. Exactly, Warren. Exactly.
Right.
Dude. Like
It brings
Waffle
us
Houses
all
are
together.
a different dimension. You walk into
Those are
that
the circle
shit.
pass, like the circle back zone, like the circle back areas, right? You lose someone early in the night, everyone knows to meet at the Waffle House like 4 a.m.
Yep. Yep.
And the later it is,
Like-
the better the food tastes. I don't know why that is, but
We used to-
especially you've been out on a bender too. You've been out on a bender. You go to the Waffle House. You eating everything under the sun to soak up that alcohol. Oh,
And you asking
man.
her for some more waffles too? Like, yo, can I just get another waffle?
I want chicken waffles. I want Roscoe's.
Oh, dude, some Nashville hot chicken on a waffle. I'm very much okay with
Don't
that
even
right
get
now.
me started on Nashville hot chicken, man. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Talking about some waffles. I'll do
gentrified
my
they try to do
Or,
it
you know,
monkey impersonation.
some like some lemon pepper wet.
Ooh, waffles are delicious. Ooh, I need some waffles.
No, crepes.
But Baba Yaga, it's
crepes
just
are
when we're
good
talking
too,
about
yeah.
like
Never
going
mind
there when you're
crepes,
drunk and
roti. Roti with some
you're
nice
hungry as
curry
shit.
sauce. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
I said it wrong, but it's dosas. It's like a
Oh,
southern
yeah.
Indian dish.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorites, dude. It's like a thin, crispy, like crepe type thing with rice on it, and then you put it in the
Yeah.
gravy, which is just curry.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite food stories is fucking Atlanta, right? There's a whole wing that exists because they were tired of getting buffalo sauce on strippers' asses, so they had to switch to lemon pepper wet. Right? They had to switch to lemon pepper wings. So every strip club in Atlanta now does lemon pepper wings. They don't do buffalo wings. It's all fucking lemon pepper shit. And lemon pepper wet is they take the butter and shit, you know, and the fucking then they like mix them, so you get like lemon pepper wet with the sauce, you know. But it's just dumb fucking Atlanta shit. I just find it funny. Like you're gonna go to the fucking roller rink, and then the strip club.
Wouldn't you still be dripping that on the butts too?
Yeah, so there's like lemon pepper dry, which is just like, you know, lemon pepper and fuck. I mean, you're still gonna get chicken grease and stuff, so you know, but that's like good for your skin and stuff. It's like cocoa butter. It's delicious. You know, it's gonna be all right. Strippers don't mind that. You know, it's the hot sauce getting in places, I think. You know, so, but it's just a funny, like that's actually how it came about. Like a strip club joint was like, we got. Dude, the fucking buffalo sauce is getting on fucking strippers. Like, we can't, you know, fucking some dude was like, that was his fucking, and then, like, everyone started coming to a strip club for the wings. Like, that's what happened, you know?
The totem of where you end up as
That's
a
what
strip
happened
club
to
DJ.
Lou Williams. That's what happened
That's
to
a
Lou
tragic
Williams during COVID.
story.
He went to the strip club and, you know, had some lemon pepper.
They had, like,
wings. They was mad.
They had like drive-through strip clubs during COVID, which I found fucking hilarious. Like, I'm gonna go drive to the liquor store and then go drive through the strip club. Like, that's what we do here in the South.
There was some out here.
Barns, but drive-through strip clubs. I mean, how's that even? When you drive up and you're like, "Here's $1."
Yeah, I think it's like
you just put the booty out the window.
You paid for a song or whatever. Yeah, like, you know, I hope they got like one of those things like they got at Sonic. They just put like a stripper on the little thing. You know, you gotta like have your drinks and shit out on the side of the car. Like it's you know what I'm talking about.
Roller
That fucking
skates
thing.
coming out with a tray, and then I got
Yep.
titties on the tray. That's what? No, you can't do that shit. Just look. I know people that go to that like you said, Reef, that they go to the strip joints. They don't give a fuck about the strippers. They go.
No, it's the food, like the buffet. Yeah, like
Some of those
it's
places have some really
crazy.
good food and some really bad strippers.
I mean that, but that's also like those guys who go to Hooters for the wings. Like, no, you ain't. Like, you are not doing that. Get out of here. You know, you're gonna go pick up a calendar. That's what you're doing.
Only if you're in a city that got really shitty wings.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
I want to find the place.
I used to
that's got the
go
fucking menu up with the
when I
fucking
didn't
numbers
have a
tilted
car.
sideways.
The only time I used to go to Hooters all the time is when I didn't have a car and I wanted to go
Mm.
catch Chiefs games, and I'm living in Florida, where it's
Yeah.
never gonna show a Chiefs game on TV.
Yeah, and they're gonna kick you out of the TGI Fridays. You know, so you got to choose one. So
Baba Yaga says, "What's new? Anything important going on?" Well, that's the thing. In this, the new norm now is there's everything going on, and so every now and then you got to take a little break away from all the shit that's going on. So we did. They're making me
sometimes you got to
fucking
talk about
hungry.
wings.
I want to choke all 5 of them right now. Got me starving, thinking about fucking food. Can't think about nothing else right now.
Mark,
I'll give you a
Festival.
rundown. I'll give you a rundown on just what's going on. Baba
Jerk
Yaga.
pork.
See, that's easy for me. I can't do pork.
Jerk
That's easy.
chicken.
Yeah.
Pepper steak. Brown stew
goodness.
chicken.
See what
Curry
we got going on.
goat.
We got, of course, Putin literally said, "U.S. keep sending weapons and see what the fuck happens." fuck around
Yeah.
and find out. So
Yeah.
he's drawing a line in the sand. That's something that's happening. U.S. is like, fuck you, bitch. What the fuck you gonna do? That's going on. We have all the stuff that has been going on that they've been saying is all conspiracies have been blowing up in all the media's face, and the media is finally starting to even get pushed back on by the normies. Even the normies are like, wait a minute, you guys told us that wasn't true. Now we're getting confused and don't know what to think. Then you have Sri Lanka is going fucking nuts over there. Riots, like the cops are just like, oh shit, I didn't think I was gonna have to really fucking work today. I'm just gonna keep my hands on my hips and stand back and get the fuck out of the way. Then you have Taiwan. They starting to pop off over there. You got Israel just bombed Damascus. Again. And then you've had it within Israel, you've had what is it? It's been about what 15, 20 people get killed, Israelis. You normally hear about Palestinians getting killed all the time. This is the first time I can remember where there's been more Israelis get killed than Palestinians. So that's something that's a little different.
Well, they were like shooting into the windows of the mosque and stuff, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, that's
fucking...
right. You also have the more right-wing Israeli types who are pushing, like, hey, we need to start praying on the Temple Mount site. You got that part going on.
Jesus, dude, the fuckers that are pushing for the third temple, they are going against everything that was taught to me through the historical framing.
Everything that Israel has ever done, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, everything, the whole setup of Nation of Israel has literally goes against everything it says in the Bible. If you are the actual people, it says you're supposed to wait for the Messiah to bring you back into that land. You ain't supposed to go into that land on your own. Damn sure not to do it by force.
After this, and someone correct me because my Marcus, you know this stuff way better than I do. But if from what I can recall, the second temple after that was burnt down. That was when the edict was put out that it was no longer. Essentially, there was the call by the rabbis of the day to start diaspora.
Actually, the second
tragically ended up happening to the Palestinians.
The second one was actually destroyed by Titus Vespasian. When that was during 70 AD, and that pushed majority of the people out of that land in 70 AD. And then you had in 135 AD, you had the Bar Kokhba revolt, and then that's what pushed most of the actual people out of the land. Yep. And then from then on, you had the diaspora go into true effect. Then you started to have other events, which I know, Jack, if you've been talking to Shadow, I mean, you know about all of the different. I don't even know how to really say this carefully because this is conversation, which this is why Rockfin needs to let me get on Rockfin. I watch Rockfin give all of these people channels, and really all they're doing is doing the same safe content. Well, I don't even know if for them it's safe content. It's just all they know. So their content is really no different when they do exclusively Rockfin to what they do on YouTube. I literally need to be on a channel to really tell you guys the real truth and actually show you the receipts to back up what the hell I'm talking about. Because here's the difference. Most Zionists, all these other people, they don't study archaeology. The same with most people who are into religions. You guys don't study archaeology, history, don't know who the hell is who, don't understand migration patterns, don't understand the change in languages and linguistics. And when you start understanding all these things, then you can actually really know what the hell is going on and who
Marcus,
the fuck is lying to you.
But you hit on something, which was that I grew up speaking Aramaic and Hebrew, right? And Hebrew was only for like prayer. It was not supposed to be a spoken language. But then you got to
remember also modern. It's modern Hebrew. It's not Paleo Hebrew.
Well, so I actually you brought up a good point. I don't know which one I learned because I learned.
I can tell you easily. Does it have
no vowels?
Okay, if it has no vowels, and I mean the only vowels that it might have is A, A and I. If you got an O and a U in there, it's modern Hebrew.
No, yeah, there's no O or U. In
Okay.
fact, when I was reading it, it was just dead ass, no vowels. It'd be like reading English with no A, E, I, O, U's. Just all consonants.
Mm-hmm.
And I've forgotten about pretty much all of it. I don't even remember what it. I mean, that's the thing is like, I appreciate getting to understand that as an identity for what it is, you know. But I don't let that identity blind me from what's going on in the fucking world, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, that used to be my jam, day and night. Prodigy, yes. Even religion is used for controlling people. Yes, the reason why is because most people, you go back to the earliest when religion started going across Europe. Nobody was allowed to read it. Nobody was allowed to read it, so you had to just trust whatever the church fathers were telling you. And if you go into Catholicism now, it's still the same shit. You walk in, they read a couple of prayers in Latin, you stand up, they read a little bit more, you sit down, they give you a couple of hymns.
Yeah, it's all ritual. It's all the same shit.
It is. It's all ritual.
Just like the French Covidians.
And they literally completely stay the hell away from certain books of the Bible altogether, let alone certain verses. It's like some books, like Habakkuk. Most Christians I know have never even heard of that book of the Bible.
Right, the book of Judas. So you mean the ones that aren't canonized, right?
I'm talking about, no, this is in the canon, and they've never heard of it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
The book of Obadiah.
Well, and Marcus, you hit on something there because so when I was learning essentially so people know in Judaism the Old Testament Judaism the Torah is the Old Testament
and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible.
Yeah,
so it's Genesis and then through but
Genesis to Deuteronomy.
Yes, yeah. And that's the thing is like learning about it through the way that I was taught it. It's a very gatekeeping type situation, is what it felt like. Because I was more into like the Sufi poets, the more mystical side of it, and there's really not a place for that because that's where they turn Kabbalah into whatever the fuck that shit is now.
Well, yeah, and you can correct me on this part. This is what I've learned from Judaism, which Hebrew Israelism is different than Judaism. You have the faction which, let's just go ahead and do this first faction. You have the Zionists, which it's all about identity. It has nothing to do with anything that would involve faith. Yeah. You have that group, so we have to count them first because
they're actually
honestly, that's the biggest. That's the biggest
yeah.
group. That's the biggest group because most of them don't know shit about anything. They're just like, well, my father's father told me that I was Jewish, or my mother's mother told me I was Jewish, and so that's what they go on. Then you have the next group where they follow the Torah only, first 5 books. Then you have the ones who follow the Torah and Tanakh, which that's following the Torah and the prophets, and the Psalms. And then you have the ones who, okay, I follow Torah and I follow the why come I can't remember what it's called? It gets a really bad name right now. You know what I'm talking about. Talmud. There we go. The Torah and the Talmud.
Because that was an oral history of rabbis. Essentially, it was like the Reddit of like back then. So like the shit in there is wild, but there's also interesting shit in there too. Like I don't know if you guys knew this, but the myth of the golem, which is like kind of calling out transhumanism for what it is, was
correct.
The Talmud, because it talks about the godless beast that is created.
That's right, Jack. That's right, Jack.
Which I would argue that there always was an oral tradition, but the Talmud, what they've done is they've substituted in a separate oral tradition, which is not the original. Like, and this comes from literally because you have 2 different Talmuds. You have what they call the Jerusalem Talmud, and you have the Babylonian Talmud, which that came after the Israelites and all the people in that region were in captivity. Because this is what a lot of people don't know. Not only were the Israelites in captivity, the Edomites were in captivity, the Moabites were in captivity, the Ammonites, all of those neighbors all got subjugated.
Explain, because Marcus, you're one of the few people I know that actually like knows this, but explain what Easter is.
Easter actually is Easter is probably one of the craziest holidays, and it blows my mind that people actually celebrate this. It is actually moon god worship, going into Isis or Ishtar or Semiramis or Madonna, whichever one of names that you want to go
And
into.
it coincides with what other holiday?
Well, it coincides with Christmas also.
With Passover.
A lot of people don't realize how they tie it all together, because Semiramis, she believed, or Ishtar, she believed that she was born from an egg through a divine birth, and she came from the moon. That's why she's called the moon goddess.
And a raft, right?
Yeah, and where the bunnies come in, where that gets involved, is because of the fertility. Like literally in ancient Mesopotamia and stuff like that, they literally used to have like wild sex orgies and get women pregnant and then sacrifice the babies to Moloch and all that. So that gets
we getting into Pazuzu? We heading towards Pazuzu now? Is that where we're heading? Pazuzu?
You let me know when we get to Cthulhu and.
I'll vote for Cthulhu if he runs. I'm gonna go for the greatest of all evils at this point.
Why not do something different?
Fuck yeah, one of those old gods. Like Florida can handle fish people. We'll be all right.
I need
we'll be all right.
I need to set it up. We need to set it up. I keep saying it, but we need to set it up to talk to Yona. There's so much I want to talk to Yona about, because for those who don't know, I have a lot of Native American heritage also, and like literally my grandmother still had like a lot of the language books from her tribe when I was growing up.
Right?
Yep, good memory.
Yeah, definitely.
Good memory.
Yona, get on here one time when Political Matrix has 5 hours worth of free time.
We're gonna talk food first, though.
A show with Yona and Marcus would be awesome.
Well, I figured like a lot of the news has been just kind of more updates of stuff that's already going on. Nothing has actually been any kind
Everything's
of
still
breaking news.
Well, I've been telling people right now, it's just a time to batten down the hatches. You're essentially waiting for a rock bottom. Like you're not going to get this intervention to happen without like more pain. Unfortunately.
See, Hamza, what you have to discern and determine when you say, do you guys know that even Illuminati is worship Jesus? Which Jesus, though? That's what you got to understand. Because what a lot of the world worships is they worship Caesar Borgia. That's who they're actually worshiping.
What's that owl god over at
Moloch.
Yeah, where's that at? Where's that? Alex Jones was sneaking out in the woods.
Out in Northern California.
That's at that
Bohemian
Grove.
Yeah.
Right. And then the Skull and Bones thing before that. I mean, why are they always got to join some weird cult thing? Why is that the case?
Well, because this all goes back to, it literally goes all the way back to Nimrod. All of this stuff all tracks back to Nimrod. Because if you understand, like, Ishtar or Semiramis or whichever, because in different places, and then you have Ashtaroth, and like even you'll hear like in the Book of Jasher and things like that, they talk about the Ashtaroth.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Zoroastrian. I almost got to go to a fire temple.
Exactly,
once, right?
Zoroastrian. Yeah. So all of this stuff, what it was is you had all of these nations which were all worshiping basically the same damn thing, and they just had different names for it.
Oh, I think
but you had one group who was separate from all those, and we're told to not follow what everybody else was doing. They're like, hey, everybody else, they got their own gods. Cool. Let them have their own gods. Even when you go into the Vikings and stuff like that, all of it all ties back to the same thing.
Dude, Viking gods were a fucking trip.
It all ties back to the same thing.
You want to talk about what Odin would get people to fucking do? How about pull open people's lungs, spread them out on the fucking like grass so it looks like a fucking eagle? That's the shit they'd have fucking Vikings be doing.
Talking about blood eagles and shit?
Right, yeah.
I don't know about those.
Fucking, I mean, I grew up in the Bible Belt South, so I've tried hard to avoid most of the religious stuff.
Well, most of it, they have...
Before someone takes a frozen snake out of freezer and hands it to you, you know what I'm saying? You gotta avoid those.
See, what it is what I learned about Christianity is all the shit that they take literal is not the shit to take literal. All the stuff that's figurative. So they literally have everything fucking backwards.
Yeah.
Like
it's that way with most shit.
Like there's people who literally think like there was a war in heaven and all that. That's not what that's talking about at all.
Aliens.
That part it does talk about that in there. Well, it does talk about it talks about
those spinning eyeballs. Yeah. I know.
It talks about the wheel within a wheel.
Yes.
Like that in the sky. It talks about chariots. It talks about like
we're gonna get copyrighted by the History Channel real quick. Is what I'm saying. If we go down this road,
we talking.
Dude, I can school the History Channel. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Honestly, I think any one of us could school
Could
the
you do it for
History
charity?
Channel.
I'd watch that.
Ooh, who is more crazy, Viking or Greek and Roman gods?
Greek and Roman gods just wanted had a fucking good time, man. The hedonists, those guys were doing fucking Bacchus, fucking great times. Pretty much, yeah. It was like booze and fucking. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and think about it.
An interesting.
They made their gods human, in my opinion. Like that's what they did.
What it is they made humans into gods.
An interesting thing about Viking gods, though, for those of y'all who watch or have heard of Attack on Titan, the founder Ymir is actually takes on inspiration from Norse mythology, because I guess Ymir was like the creator of something, and then in the anime Ymir was the first Titan, and in Norse mythology Ymir created the first giant. So
that's how it goes.
Where did it go? Right here. It used to be History Channel. Now it's more like pseudo history.
The pseudo history. Yeah.
Now it's just like limited.
Now they're talking about Bigfoot. They're talking about Bigfoot and swamp kings or whatever the fuck.
Ding, motherfucking ding. Exactly. Yona nailed it right there. If God made the earth and therefore existed before the earth, by default, God is extraterrestrial.
But then where did God come from?
Well, see, now you get into the bigger, deeper mysteries.
And we can just keep asking why.
Because this is what
on that road.
This is what I ask atheists. This is what I ask atheists. If it's so silly to believe that a God created things, then how do you explain anything?
Entropy. That's the only God I can fucking think of, really. Crazy shit can happen.
I look at it like this. How is it
there's a book.
The belief
there's a book you should read.
Accidents is more logical than somebody designed a society for us to be able to live in.
String theory says any universe can fucking exist where anything can fucking happen. So, that's what we're.
If you go from the Big Bang Theory, Bang Theory, you're literally what you're saying.
I think that was
you're saying everything is literally an accident, a perfect accident. Like, that's what you're saying makes more sense.
I'm not saying. I've always said, again, growing up in the South, I've had these arguments plenty. Well, no, I am one, so I'll take the fucking rap.
All right. Let's go.
But whatever. Like, I don't care. Atheist isn't even the right word. Like, there's not even a word to like. So it's not like to between atheist and agnostic. Somewhere in there. But
I don't have a problem with an agnostic.
Yes.
Because to say I don't know, that is the proper answer. But for you to say no, this definitely did not happen.
Right.
That level.
There's a book. There's a book you should look up, and I think it's called "The Vengeful God," right? And you get into this thing. I mean theology and stuff, and like, dude, my father's much more into this than I am as the psychologist, but me personally, like, I'm good. I'll just watch Family Guy. But like, you get into that free speech part of theology, right? Or free thinking, my bad, free will, all that stuff, right? And usually the line is well, like when people talk about, well, if there is a God, why does he let these terrible things happen? Right? you know, why does he let babies get cancer? Why does he let, you know?
And do you want to know my answer? What my answer for that is?
Well, usually it's things work in mysterious ways, or we have to test stuff, or
I'm not a Christian.
You know,
Christians
right.
Don't have answers for damn near anything. Anything that you ask them a question on and they get pushed on, oh, he just works in mysterious ways.
Right.
No,
Yeah, they have no knowledge.
What I've come to understand is that we are living in forms of regeneration, not reincarnation. Like you don't come back as a sock or something crazy. We are reliving lives over and over and over. And it says that you will judgment is done below the sun and the clouds. And so therefore, whatever we did in our last lives, we have to pay for it in our next lives.
Sure.
So
that's kind of along my beliefs. And that's actually the truer definition of karma. Is it's a cumulative thing. It's not necessarily good or bad. It's a cumulative thing over lifetimes.
And all this is usually subjective.
A real fucker in these past
100%. It's just my relational model of explaining the shared lived experience.
Yeah. I mean, I usually feel like religion is kind of like an excuse to wrap all these mental health things into a neater package for people. You know, that's why we include things like ritual and discipline and all that stuff, you know, self, what are those things you're supposed to do every morning? You got to look in the mirror, tell yourself look good. What are those acclamations? What's up, Franco? You know, me and Franco have been arguing about this all week, and I love him to death. You know, but like I don't, you know, there's a book, that vengeful God thing.
I'll tell you why I
never got down to vengeful God.
The reason why I believe what I believe is because I've been able to see the prophecies. I've been able to literally look at it saying this 2,000 years ago, and I'm able to see like not only one, I'm talking about like thousands of prophecies being fulfilled out and being able to see a design. And for me, it's either one of two things. Either somebody was able to see divinity and things to happen down the road into the future, or somebody at the top is literally engineering everything to match up to this book.
Possible.
And so me, it's one of the two. Now, I don't fault anybody who would go with that latter, but I'm saying it's one of the two. And so what that also tells me is, say, for instance, it is groups of people who are manufacturing it all to fit with that narrative. It still means that the narrative in there is what's going to happen to an extent, correct?
When it's like, I mean, you're talking about in things like in Israel, where the conservative Christians have been trying to get the apocalypse to happen for decades now, that kind of shit.
That goes with the third temple too.
That goes in the third temple too. Let me.
But yeah, you should look up. I think it's called. I think it's called the Vengeful God, right? It's something along those lines, or the Benevolent, one of the two.
In like Baptist church.
Essentially states. Go ahead.
All the ways I was going to hell. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
Pretty much. I mean, no, that's what I Southern Baptist, like First Baptist, like all that stuff around here.
I went to Southern Baptist church once, and
sure.
I just told my parents, I was like, "This dude's telling me that we're going to hell because we're not believers in front of everyone."
The book,
I don't like
the book essentially states a question to theology almost that is an interesting one to think about, right? You know, and usually the more open-ended religions don't have a problem with this, like trying to figure this out, right? But it essentially puts up the place. Well, you get that free will thing happening, right? Where it's like, well, all these terrible things can happen, right? Because there's free will in the world, right? Which then makes God not all powerful. But we'll get into that later. We start into the great schism there. But like,
so for free will, I think you got to bring in.
What's to say that God is not just a vengeful God and not a benevolent one, right? Most religions assume God is good. Well,
that's kind of why I like the Tao tradition where it's unknown.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. And that's why I have a lot more respect for like Egyptian gods and Norse gods and whatever, because at least those feel like reasonable things that they're assessing the fantasy that's part of this book, right? Whether it's the Egyptian ones or whatever, right? you know, and they're going, all right, well, how would Hemotep deal with this situation? You know? So, but, you know,
What would H do, you guys?
like, exactly. What would Anubis be doing? You know? Like, but,
Probably scaring people.
yeah, the Egyptian gods are hella scurry, you know? So, one's just like an alligator face. The fuck is that? You know?
Oh, that's the. Oh, I'm losing
One of
so
them.
much of the shit I learned. Franco.
What's up, Franco?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Franco, what's going on?
How are you? It's great to be on here. Do I sound good? Is my mic
Yes.
okay?
Mhm.
Awesome. So it's okay to get controversial here tonight?
How controversial? I mean, I don't think we could stop
Talking about
Franco.
God and all that.
Shit.
Right?
Go right ahead.
I think that when we try to put like any personality on God, we're putting limitations on what
Sure.
God is. And God is literal infinity. Any kind of
100%.
personality we try to apply to God is setting a limitation. It's we can't comprehend what God is. Like our human brains can't wrap around literal infinity, which would also have to include things that are just nothing. We can't even comprehend what nothingness is. You get what I mean?
That's just dead ass. A lot of Zen Buddhism is like getting to the heart of what nothingness actually is, which is not to where you like literally like emptiness and the way that I studied it, and like it's not really in Buddhist text. It's in like the Marcus, like you're saying earlier, it's an oral handing down between different teachers and students, and that tradition is very interesting because the paradoxes in Zen Buddhism, they're there because you're not supposed to have, if you have an answer and you're so sure about it, then it's probably wrong, because they're supposed to make you know, like, so here's a old Buddhist joke, right? How many Buddhists take a screw in a light bulb? Anyone?
And
how many?
3. One to screw it in, the other one to not screw it in, and the third one to neither screw it in nor not screw it in.
Right.
Schrodinger's
I've
Buddhist. Got
heard
it.
that before. Like when you make comparisons between two things, it's either that, the other thing, and that which is neither. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's, when you measure anything, if the,
Sir, when did you get so deep? I'm loving it.
you know, I mean, it's when you measure anything at a quantum level, you immediately change the result, right? This is Schrodinger, pretty much. You know.
Well, and Schrodinger just had he needs to, like, you know, his obsession with killing cats.
Yes, but the cat is not dead if you don't look in the box. That's how it works.
Also,
you know, only until you open the box is it dead or not dead. You know.
Also,
there's I was going to say, what if there's infinite levels of existence? Like you have the quantum realm,
What's
right?
up, bro?
And then you have our realm. And then, but what if our existence here is the quantum realm for an even greater existence that we can't comprehend, because, you know, we have to use equipment and use like some sort of science in order to even admit that the quantum realm even exists, right? And
I'm actually working on a theory. I'm working on it's actually 9-dimensional theory, and it goes over 3 different dimensions. So like there's the physical, then there's the spiritual, and then there's what's called the ether, which is kind of like woo, like what we would call woo. And each one of those has 3 different dimensions that are non-dualistic, but they form dualism. So like in the physical plane, you'd have like good and bad, right? Or like evil and good, or like those juxtapositions, and in the middle would be like something else, right? Something that would be the gray area where they merge.
No matter where you are, though, no matter which dimension you're at, you're still part of the infinity. So God is literally everywhere. That's why in scriptures they say like God is everywhere. Isn't that right?
Exactly. Well, and that's why I always try to tell people, it's like, if you call it whatever you want, God, source, whatever, but like for me, the way I understand it, it's the connection between us all. Like we all know there's something there, like deep
Yeah,
down.
like it's
Yeah,
for me
energy.
it's very fluid. Yeah, like Franco said, it's like energy. It's very fluid and kind of moving in and out of various different beings and meanings because like you said, it is infinity. So within that it can have like this very kind of flowing like that's why like water in the ocean is like a big part of my personal spirituality because like the flow of the water and the fluidity of that is very representative of what like the ultimate God or being is to me.
Marcus, you'll probably know what's the Jewish practice of it if it's almost like prayer but it's just kind of being in nature. What is that called? You know what I'm talking about?
You got me there. Jack might
You
know.
mean for Purim?
I think so.
For Purim, there's a holiday. It's just where you're celebrating the harvest. So you try to give food to like you find like either like homeless shelters and like the community tries to organize food can drives and things like that. That's what it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be given back to the local communities.
Well, I think it's like a general, yeah.
No, I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about crap. What is that?
It's like a more general thing. Just like being in nature will allow you to speak to God.
Literally
Yeah.
part of
being present.
Part of the holiday,
Yeah.
you have to like go out and in fellowship with your brother and literally go out to the woods and like what is it? Not Pentecost. What is it? I'm trying to remember. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Hasidic?
It's like no, like
evangelical?
it means the friends, right? What is it?
Yeah, this and I know exactly
Where they go around bringing generators to people who need it and stuff like that. Those cats.
That would be a part of Purim, but
Okay.
this is I believe Pentecost. Pentecost, if I'm not mistaken, Pentecost is where you actually go out into the woods and you camp and you're supposed to have fellowship and you're supposed
that's
to give
the fucking creepy shit that I'm like no.
Yeah, you gotta be weird heading to the Pentecostal church.
You're supposed to,
especially when you're playing a gig there. When you're playing a gig there, and your buddy doesn't tell you that it's going to be that church. You know what I'm saying?
You're not expecting snakes.
You go through the whole like practice and stuff. You learn all the pieces. You get there, people start speaking in tongues. All of a sudden, you're like, bro, you could have warned me something.
But see, that's where like some of the issues come in with like the church, Christianity in general. When it says speaking in tongues, what speaking in tongues is actually talking about is speaking in different languages. It doesn't mean that's not what speaking in tongues is. It's literally speaking in different languages, because when it starts talking about that they'll bring they said Jews from all these diverse places, Syria and Gilead, and they start naming off all of these different places.
Right.
Literally
Tower of Babel shit.
Hearing them speak in their own tongue. And so
that's
literally just talking about people speaking different languages, which the church, they take very simple stuff and they make it very mystical and spooky. And then they take stuff which is the mystical stuff and don't see it for what it is. Like I'll give you an example. When they talk about that the Israelites walked across, and the sea departed, it's kind of like when you're around that person who they constantly make this story bigger than it was, and then they spread it to the next person, and the next person, the next person. If you actually go to the
story of Moses, right?
Well, yeah, you know what I'm going to go to. They've actually found a part which leads out of Egypt, where there's a land bridge that walks into Saudi Arabia. It's real. Where only thing that happened was the how like we have, especially you understand this in Florida, high tide and low tide. Once the waters drop down, you're able to see stuff that you didn't see before.
Well, all of Florida was underwater, so at one point.
And so
that's why it's all made out of limestone and shit.
There's a part where the people were easily able to walk across, and so
when you gonna find Atlantis though? I know that's your real quest. You gotta go find that shit.
It's in the Azov Sea, like over near.
I believe it's in that area too.
The Black Sea.
Yeah, in the Black Sea near the Azov Sea. I believe it's definitely in that area because I would imagine most of these early civilizations all
Well, had to be a place Greece could have made, right? Greece could have gotten to, right? And Italy's not that far from Romania, so
the Silk Road,
all of
the
that
Silk
stuff
Road,
is
right,
right
would
next
have
to
gone
each
right
other.
through there, so it would have
Yeah.
made sense that would be the center.
We've had so many advanced civilizations that just have been erased
Dude.
from history, like
Yes.
Peru, like really ancient Peru and like
Yeah.
Central America.
Göbekli Tepe.
And then all of that got erased from history when the Spaniards came.
Have you been
Even
over there?
dog breeds got like wiped out
because they brought
What's
their
that?
white Jesus.
What's the city in Peru? I can't remember the name of it.
Cusco.
Yeah.
Bolivia?
No, the one that's like Mayan or Inca or Aztec, one of those.
Cusco.
Yeah, it's like up on the mountain and shit, right? It's like fucking high elevation, like
Machu
you know.
Picchu?
Am I thinking of different? Yeah,
Machu
I'm thinking of
Picchu.
that.
Did you
Yeah.
did you know that they had their own dog breeds and they got like destroyed by the Spaniards? Like they went extinct because of them.
Fucking Spaniards at it again. Ponce de
Yeah, they were
Leon,
only
fucking
able to
shit
preserve
up.
like the naked dogs,
Mm.
like in Mexico and in Peru.
Right.
Like those naked dogs, the hairless dogs that are considered ugly.
Yeah. Raisin dogs.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like those raisin cats. Why they gotta be hairless like that? Put some clothes on. You know, do something.
It's funny. I want to. Choosy says this, and normally we're talking about this other stuff, and he's bringing up this stuff, and it normally doesn't fit with the topic, but this fits definitely. He says, "Yeah, that's where the Masons corrupted the Vatican, Corporation, and the Vatican royal family bloodlines have absolutely nothing to do with it. It's Masons below Rome." And he says, yes, I was being sarcastic, which we know it's. Masonic organizations had to do with destruction of all this stuff. Especially you go into the Library of Alexandria, which you find in Greece, where as back to Alexandria.
When we start going back to the Crusades, right?
Yeah, well,
like,
even before the Crusades, it's maybe about maybe 1,000 years before the Crusades, maybe.
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe about 2,000 years before the Crusades.
What was it like? 75% of knowledge was lost.
My theory on that is that they were trying to literally whitewash history to take away. All
the ones who win the war.
That's what the Renaissance was all about. Also.
Yeah.
The Renaissance. Why do you think Henry VIII was going around destroying any religious texts, any religious artwork?
So they could have control.
That's when they whitewashed Jesus, right?
Yeah.
That's at that time.
Exactly.
Caesar's ordeal.
And remember
it came
how
out-
every other part of the world was popping while Europe was in their dark ages?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's one thing. Here's one thing which is never ever even talked about, Harley. And historians, if you talk to a historian, they'll kind of begrudgingly admit it, but they don't. None of them will teach this. The period when the Moors took over Europe, that was, for one, a very long period of time. It was much longer than they let on. It was roughly about 1,000 years. Also,
I was gonna say
it wasn't just in like Spain and Great Britain and like a couple of places. It was literally all of Europe. I mean, all the way across to Russia. And you can tell in the Russian iconoclasm that they still have to this day in the Russian Orthodox Church. If you literally go in the Russian Orthodox Church today, the one which Putin and all the world leaders go to, you go in the back rooms and you literally see black images of all of the people in biblical days. Now you go into the front part and it's all white images, but that all goes into
I already
that,
said the giveaway to
whitewash.
me with all this was when I didn't understand why Jesus is a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand why Jesus, like, no one could explain it to me. I had a Southern Baptist minister, Reef, you can probably appreciate that, try to explain. Boy, you are going to hell so fast. Like,
the minute you question shit, they push you away. Like, that's how it works. It's meant to control the dumb, weak-minded individuals so that they put more money into the fucking pastor's basket. That's all it is.
Well, and the way I framed it is like the question that this like particular minister, I had an issue with authority. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I just called him out.
Yes.
He was like, he for some reason he always had to bring it back to like race and like all this other shit. And I was just like, so you think unbelievers go to hell, right? And I was like, so unbaptized children. I just brought up that real quick, and then he kind of stumbled, and then he got really angry, and then he had been teaching a sermon about essentially like what it's a dog whistle towards like the Jews killed Jesus, which again, make of that what
Yes.
you will. Like,
Yeah.
but that the thing is that if you look at the historical context, though, what the fuck happened? Who was Judas, right? But again, the fact is left out that Jesus was Jewish.
Have you
So
have you
I
guys
had to
read
inform
anything about the
minister of that.
book of Judas? That's one of my favorite things to bring up.
I've read the book of Judas. I've read the book of Mary.
Yeah.
Also, I've
Judas
read the book of
Judas
Thomas.
essentially says that Jesus asked him to do it. It was Jesus's idea. That like Judas was his boy, right? Judas was his best boy.
Well, that explains
You
why he said
know?
one of you will betray me, because he already fucking knew.
He already knew because he paid the guy to do it. He's like, look, my dad said I had to go do this thing. You know, you're gonna have to help me out, like. You know, and all you gotta do is like get some money. Like Jesus gave him the money. Apparently, it wasn't like the Romans. It was like Jesus that gave him the money, like to do it. Apparently, that's what I've heard.
Well,
you know,
something that Jack, since Jack speaks Hebrew, there's one thing which a lot of people don't realize. If you look up what hell is in Hebrew, it's the word Sheol. What does Sheol mean, Jack?
Ice.
Sheol means
Frozen.
the grave. It means the grave.
Oh,
that's where you go.
Yeah.
There's no in Hebrew. There is no concept of like Dante's Inferno.
Correct.
well, who's the one doing wizardy woo stuff that they took out of the Bible? It's not. That's another non-canon part.
Well,
one
no,
of like the
he's
Jewish
in there, but
kings.
he's minimized. You're talking
Right.
about. You were talking about King Solomon.
Yeah, where he's like going down to hell and doing like killing
But he's
demons
not
and
actually
shit.
going to hell. He's like
Right.
dealing with demons.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know
Pazuzu.
exactly what you're talking about because that
Right.
goes into crap. I can't remember what it's called, but
Yeah, there's a whole book that talks about like it's like magical nonsense. He's literally doing like Harry Potter stuff in it. You know?
yeah, he's literally like commanding demons to do different things and stuff. And
Yep.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's said to believe that he built the first temple by
Mhm.
basically enslaving demons to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all knew those demons were aliens. That's what we all know. You know?
Well, I believe any what will we call it? Any like supernatural being would be alien to this place.
Sure.
And that's where the whole concept of aliens come from. An angel would technically be an alien too.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's a video.
angels, demons, all of those would fall up under extraterrestrial or alien.
There's a video you can look up of biblical descriptions of aliens, like visualized, like someone did an animated CG thing of them, and they're fucking terrifying. They're like Cthulian old god nonsense.
The
They're,
Bible literally describes angels as being
chariots of fire, right? Like, yep, like eyeball wheel.
Describe
you
them
know,
as a little fucking Cupid baby, which
right? They've got like four different. They got like four. Well, that's cherub. That's fucking. They're pulling from Roman pagan shit with the cherubs and shit, right?
I know you're talking
You
about.
know.
You're starting to talk about cherubims and stuff like that. Which
Right,
you
yeah.
look even into Aztec and Mayan culture, you'll see
Mhm.
Quetzalcoatl, which Quetzalcoatl basically fits the description of a seraphim.
So I when me and Frank started having these talks, in our Twitter DMs, we started getting into. He was like, "Have you done mushrooms?" Like, yes, I've done mushrooms. Like, he started to tell me I'm going to do DMT, see the ayahuasca gods, where a lot of this shit comes from. Brings back to that stoned ape theory that I think most religions are just people getting fucking way too high, having a bad trip.
I mean, your pineal gland does make DMT.
Right. I've always thought that it was physical manifestations of human psyche. Right? A lot of these gods are
I
linked
think
with like
that's
primal
what it is.
fear. Like look, we've got people talk about ayahuasca gods, which are essentially things that frequently people see under ayahuasca trips or DMT trips or high hallucinogenic doses. Right, and they are similar. You got like the mantids, the lizard people, aliens, jesters, right? Like,
I think those are archetypes. Those are like
right. They're
archetypes.
Yeah, they're your primal fears. Like the reason why people are afraid of spiders and snakes is because, as far as evolution is concerned, that thing can murder you. So big cats. Big reptiles, those things are things that your brain is mentally wired to go, oh, fuck that shit, I'm out. Like that's
Remember my theory, though, about what
generations of
happens
survival.
after
Sure.
we die? Like my
Yeah, you
theory
just-
about what happens after we die?
The simulation ends, game
Yeah,
over,
like,
and we.
It's like we get
You
unplugged from
know.
the Matrix. We remember who we were before we became this character that we are in this realm. And then we're given the choice of either to like help out other people who are still in the game, like
Mhm.
loved ones, like as a guide, that, or we can play the game again as another character, that's reincarnation, or we can move on and do other stuff, because I mean there's infinite things that exist out there in this universe.
I mean, I would
I-
happily do God's IT work.
I'd hate to be the guy that's getting Gilbert Gottfried's help right now. You know, like just gotta hear that all day. You know, like fucking you fool. I'd fucking be terrified of that. Get out of here, Gilbert. Fucking, where's Bill Murray? Get the fuck out of here.
Your ass over there somewhere.
Yeah, but
How
I
come
don't
the
know.
simulation thing is more believable for you, Reef?
I mean, it's essentially like string theory, which we've had some degree of, you know, universe isn't infinite, so therefore there's got to be shit next to it, you know, which then that's the infinite that they're talking about. You know, it gets into some weird stuff, but, you know, I don't know. I don't have to believe in it is the thing, right?
Yeah.
I can take all of the good moral behavior that all of these stories and stuff have granted upon society, continue to do all those things, try to be a good person, like all that stuff, without having to believe in this like mystical push towards that behavior, you know?
Well,
like,
and I think that's where it comes into like who's like, because you're hitting on a lot of good points there, and that's that like I don't have a lot of respect for people that try to push their beliefs on others. That's just, it's a pet
Yeah.
peeve of mine. I think that if you're passionate about what you do, then you explain your perspective, and then naturally people will either be attracted or whatever. You just let things happen. But I think there is a tendency in some of like the very religious communities where it's very cultish.
They get dogmatic,
Well, I think-
and then they get emotionally
Yeah.
attached to their beliefs.
Yeah. And it's one thing to have hope and believe in some supernatural shit, like whatever. Like we all have our weird shit, you know? Like, you know, people fucking be wearing the same boxers every time fucking, you know, the Chiefs come on. Like, it's just how that fucking works. You know what I'm saying? You know, so Drew Brees couldn't throw outside the Superdome. So what the fuck are we going to do anyway? So, like, now he's fucking... Dude, New Orleans gave up on that guy quick.
Magic in a Superdome. See?
Yes, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. But yeah, I don't mind. To me, it's just it's not necessary. Like I do all the shit that, like, you know, I'm more mindful and present than most people who even know those words as far as the Buddhist teachings of it. You know, like there's a ton of that.
Oh,
but
dude,
I don't think
I've met so many Buddhists that
I
are
don't
so
think
dogmatic
all
and
life.
ignorant.
I don't think all life is suffering for one. And these are a lot of times the people who know the most about theology and religion or whatever, right, end up finding out that it's usually not what everyone's taught, for one, right? You know, and usually they're the most well-informed, they're the most well-read, they're the most, you know, like not only have they read those texts, they've read Shakespeare, they've read countless other shit. So, you know, usually that leads you to like a much more like, here's the way I feel. You know, usually when talking to religious anybody, right, I just believe one less thing than you do. You usually don't believe all these other groups, right? You don't believe in the Egyptian stuff. You don't believe in the countless African gods that have since been lost. Like, you know, like you don't believe in any of the Egyptian ones. You don't believe in any of the, like, we can go down the list. Like, what about the Russian ones before the Christian ones got there? What about any of the Asian religions that we don't even get into? You know, like there's so many of those.
That's why. So you
know,
something huge there, and that's that. Like Taoism was hidden from me when I went to
right,
school.
Shinto.
Oh,
Yeah, well, it was hidden for a reason
love
because
Shinto
if you just read the
religion.
document, it just the Taoist text, like the Tao Te Ching, is just very straightforward. It's the same
Yeah.
shit still going on.
Well, a lot of times it's stories passed down from parents to kids trying to teach. I mean, look at Deuteronomy alone. It's literally a list of rules for survival in the desert. Like, that's, you know, don't eat the pork. It can fuck you up if you don't cook it for long enough. Like, You know, that's pretty much
or
it.
in actuality, it'll fuck you up anyway because it eats everything, and so
Right.
it's healthy for you. And plus,
Yeah.
the salt and all that'll give you.
Sure.
I mean, that's the reason why it tells you not to eat anything without fins and scales, and that's the reason why,
Yeah.
because those things are bottom feeders.
Yeah, because if you grab the wrong one, you could die. Like, you know.
And see, most people take it as if, well, I ate one and it didn't kill me. It's not about eating one. It's about the continuation of eating it over years and years and years.
Yeah.
It will eventually.
And it's also at the time, you have to think historically when this stuff was written, and, you know, pigs weren't farmed properly. You know, like all that stuff. Like if you take that, like what we know from the text, which were written by who again, Marcus?
Oh,
you know, who wrote those?
Goes back pretty far.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying generally some dude, you know, in a cave somewhere, you know, smoking a little hashish was writing shit down, right?
Or,
you know,
for the most part, in an old village, we'll say that.
sending some angry letters to, you know, a diocese or whatever, like, you know, any of those things, like his you know, I'd love to see the Roman stories on Jesus. That would be great if we could find those. Those are probably in Alexandria where shit got burned.
There is a little bit actually.
Yeah, there's like two guys, right?
Like
you know, I mean, Pliny the Elder was around. He wrote a ton of shit down. You think he would have wrote something about
They've confirmed,
you know,
yes, there was a real guy named Jesus that they accused of thinking he was a god, and he was crucified. And so they do have that actual record in Roman history.
I mean, not when I looked, but I feel you. I'll take your word for it. You know, like again, I don't care if it was or wasn't real. Like, you know, none of those motherfuckers follow anything of what that guy said.
It's
let
just
alone
a matter of if you believe that person that they're talking about was a divine being or anything like
sure.
that.
Yeah, none of them are turning over the fucking apple carts in the temple. None of them are doing that shit. So, you know, I'll wait when they start doing that.
Most of the people who fight so much about the beliefs and all that aren't following any of the beliefs any damn way. So even you know, you defeat the whole damn fucking purpose.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I don't know. Part of it is because like I went that road. You know, I mean, atheism in and of itself is a path. You know, so you know, I look to other scholars as opposed to religious ones. You know, but.
The person that I found this from, actually, Kelly says there is no Roman stories of Jesus because he didn't exist. I can show you a Roman historian,
prolific record keepers,
who is an atheist, who will testify that he existed.
Right. So, except there's like, how many Romans were writing shit? Loads of them, especially about like legal matters. You think there'd be some fresca somewhere with fucking Jesus on the cross in the, you know, like in Vesuvius, where it was like literally preserved perfectly.
For them, he wasn't anybody of significance.
Sure. Well, you say that though. Pilate was willing to fucking let him die. You know, like obviously the Jewish leaders at the time felt he was a problem.
Yeah,
you know,
but then you got to remember what happened. What happened to Jerusalem, Israel? All of it was destroyed. So even if they had massive records of it, it's not like you're going to find any of that.
No, I know, and the thing of Alexandria and all that stuff, and I get there's big blind spots historically, but you know, like to me, it's I can also believe the good parts of that and. Good parts of every other book. I'll go read Moby Dick for its moral fucking, you know, like lessons. Like there's tons of that. To me, that's the thing. So many people limit their like educational scope to like one lane when there's like thousands of things. There's generations of information to go look up, find, you know. It's like, why the fuck are you eating bland chicken and rice for? The fuck you doing? Go learn that there's some spices in the world. Go find that shit. You know, like,
well, and like, I don't know how many people will get that chance.
Well, I mean, even then, like, spices are a preservation tool. Usually, you know, most spices and shit are local ingredients that people can grow that make food last longer. Like, you know, all that shit. Smoking meats just so that your, you know, meat doesn't rot. Like, all that stuff. Pickling, all that stuff. You know, so. Which I think the poorer you are, the more you know about food preservation. So,
are there? I'm trying to remember if I can remember that historian's name. I mean, there's a historian who literally was like, "Yeah, I can prove to you
There's like two guys.
He's like,
there's like
now.
two guys, two Jewish guys that wrote after Jesus was, dead and gone, right? I'm pretty sure I remember. I've looked this up a couple of times.
One of the major writers. What is his name? Herodotus. Herodotus was a major historian, Jewish historian.
I mean, and they're contested.
About 100 years after his
right.
Jesus wasn't his real name too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
His real name.
It was
the
Mark.
J only been around about.
I mean, Chris Rock knew him, owes him money.
Only the letter J's only been around about 400 years. Now,
Right. It would be in Hebrew. It would be,
some
yeah.
people would say, like I heard Hamza says Yeshua. I found records to say that it was something slightly different, but close to that.
So what's interesting is in Jewish prayer it's pronounced Adonai, which is just
Adonai just means Lord.
Yeah, Lord.
Yeah.
But just like for instance that in Jewish prayers they never say Lord and they never say God either. They never say his name either, which
Yahweh, whatever.
Which I don't say Yahweh. I've found like because if you go into the actual ancient Paleo Hebrew, you find that there was no E, so it couldn't be Yahweh or Yeshua or any of those things like that.
Yeah, so there was a weird explanation that I got early on that one, Marcus, which is that the name is like not allowed to be said and only a few people know it. That was the first.
Yeah, that's the
that I got.
nonsense game that they play.
But the second one is because I always told them, I was like, well, Adonai, like if you go look at how it's spelled, it's not like you just know that that's Adonai because of how it's arranged. Like it doesn't actually. So whatever that means is something else. It's very interesting because like the prayer for wine. The prayer starts with thank you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, and then you're thanking them for what they gave you, like wine, which is hagafen or something, right? It's the prayer structure is very interesting because you're right, Marcus. Like the prayer structure, I think was changed over time because the way I was taught was you said in the English version, most of my family spoke Yiddish, but in the English version it was Lord our God, right, ruler of the universe. That was the very distinct way of saying it. And then I heard it other ways that just are way different.
And that's another thing. It makes a difference if you were talking about modern Hebrew, older Hebrew, Aramaic. It makes a difference which text or which version you're reading from. Because
what about the Scientology alien? Where does he show up?
Man, I don't play with none of that Scientology.
No, it's super fun to play with. They had to write 747s.
I play with it as far as mocking it. I take it just about as seriously as the Mormons when talking about that you're gonna all.
Oh, the guy who saw the light in his own tent and then never could show it. That guy? You mean that guy?
Yeah.
That conveniently wanted to date like 5 of his cousins. That guy.
Yeah, and that same guy who was one of the most prolific fiction writers of his time. Yeah, that guy.
Yes, that guy as well. That other guy. Fucking Tom Cruise saluting his ass.
Exactly.
Anyway,
she blasted him.
Yeah, fucking good for her. But anyway, it's like 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. So
we've had a nice. We probably wore the chat out. They're probably like, we don't care about nothing.
Probably. I'm fucking good night.
But yeah,
motherfuckers started with Ukraine, some real shit. Then they went to talking about food, and now they're just talking about God.
They're probably like, I don't care nothing y'all are talking about tonight. But
it's just like a normal smoke session. We've been passing around the blunt enough, Like
that was it. Sometimes I gotta have some of those episodes where we just talk about some other shit. I mean, I know people are, they're looking for what they're looking for, but hey, sometimes
we almost made it to anti-radiation beanies. Just got to break out the tinfoil, we were almost there. Give us another hour, got to get that 5G out. So, but
Yona got some freestyling skills going on.
There you go.
I'm sorry,
Fucking
Barry.
Quidditch.
To put you to sleep.
But-
Any of Saudi Saturday Night Live about Biden? No, I'm sure it's probably hilarious. I'll have to look it up later, man. And thank you all for who did stick around and entertained it. Yes, happy Aster, or Ishtar. That's what I say. You guys going to have your and for the pagans out there, hey, knock yourself out. This is
Do it the fuck up. Moon God's best god and pagan stuff. Because that's when all the fun stuff happens. Those full moons.
And the
I'm
wild
saying? Yeah, dude, naked dancing in the forest. I'm down.
Well,
you know?
here, I'll throw a little something out there. A lot of people don't know. Astra is like stripping pole. That's nothing new. The astric pole goes all the way back to the biblical days where they would literally dance around the pole and like offer themselves up as like prostitutes. So, I mean, there's nothing new in my beliefs. There's nothing new on this earth. All this stuff is just all being brought back over and over again, just different forms.
Oh, we all waiting for the next remix, is what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, I guess we're going ahead and start with Reef. What do you got coming up next? And
I got
look forward to let everybody know your channel, and we'll just go all the way around.
Yep. At Reef Breland on Twitter. You can find me there. I think Marcus put my link tree down below. That's got all the links to my channels. I usually do a show Friday nights, usually around 10 o'clock. So last week we had Cy and Warren. Go watch that shit, down there. Jesse Jet was there. Good time.
That's right. Jesse Jet was
But Wednesday, 420, we'll be celebrating with just an in-and-out StreamYard. People can join. Everyone's invited. So, we'll figure that out. I think we're going to try to start that 420 Wednesday, East Coast time, and see how long it goes. So, be there, be square, be triangle. I don't care, But otherwise, how do we miss that? So with Indie Left, go find Indie Left. He does way too much shit. He's the fucking James Brown of this goddamn space. Go find him. Right, go find Uncle Warren's in a group with me called INN. Right, go find that Independent News Network. Go find all that shit. Give it some love.
It's definitely good collaboing with you. I just noticed that we got INN and we got MCSC on there.
Yes, sir.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yes, sir. Ooh.
So on my end, Shadow and I have got an amazing intro that we're working on. We're just polishing it up. So much shit has happened that we've like literally had to just redo almost like a lot of stuff from the standpoint of updating things that we were just kind of hinting at. They actually came true while we were writing this. So we're just like, well, shit, we'll just sort it. Like, cite that. So you can find me normally haunting Max Kaiser's dreams, another Bitcoin maximalist, and Discord.
All right, Kelly.
Definitely.
Lord,
I
what
like
you got?
what Kelly was saying up there earlier. I was like, I want to go to Kelly's parties. Dancing around naked outside sounds like so much fun. I see what happens when you get drunk, young lady.
That's what I'm saying.
And Yipper, yes, that is correct. Most of these pagan holidays are all about sex.
Don't ask about that Yule log. Don't be asking about that.
We're not going there tonight. That gets
You don't even want to get into what the dreidel is. That's a whole different thing.
Really dark. But
the game is bullshit. I regret ever playing it.
That oil lasts a few days though, don't it, Marcus? That oil be lasting.
It's a war story, by the way. That shit always fucked me up. I was like, this is a war
story. I learned that shit from Rugrats. Shout out Rugrats.
Marcus said that about the Maccabees, like it's the tell of the Maccabees or whatever, or some group that was taking on. The oil lasted 9 days, so now we have our Christmas.
Yeah, that's what Hanukkah's basically about. I mean, like I can go into if you guys ever want to know what the whole
it's not one of the high holy
Hanukkah.
days. Yeah.
No, Hanukkah is one of the high holy days.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Dude, wow.
Yes,
420 is the highest of holy days.
Culturally, it's totally not. Like Yom Kippur, you miss services on that, you're gonna get chewed out by all your ants. You miss Hanukkah, not even a call.
Well, but the thing about that's the crazy thing about it. Like most of the high holy days are literally like war celebrations.
Well, I mean, you got the ram's horn, dude.
I mean, it's literally like Passover. Literally, is like, hey, thank you, God, for not killing us and killing all our enemies. Yay! I mean, so
and that's what Moses was trying to get them to leave behind, was their like vengeance, is what I felt like. He was trying to like.
Well, not really.
Yo,
He was telling him, yo, let our people go, or our God is gonna fuck you up.
There you go.
Yo,
but going ahead, my brother Franco, and thank you for hopping in, Franco.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm just curious to hear, before we all head out, which branch of Christianity annoys you the most? Because there's a lot of ridiculous ones out there.
I mean, that's a tough question. Oh,
Is it
that's
Catholicism?
one of the hardest questions.
Is Westboro a type of church, or is that just that's
No,
more cultic?
I'm gonna tell you. Now that I think about it, I know exactly which one. Catholicism.
Okay.
The reason why is Catholicism has much more power and control, and most of
Yeah,
these
they've done the
other
most
versions
damage.
of Christianity are just watered down versions of Catholicism. And then you factor in Catholicism was literally used to force Christianity on literally more than half the world.
There's
With
a,
the Crusades and
Yeah,
they either did it
indulgences.
they did it their heavy-handed way, or they did it their soft ways by sending in missionaries to every freaking area. And so
Literally like soft power and hard power shit we're seeing today.
exactly soft power, hard power. And what they would do also is people are like, well, I'm a Baptist, so I'm different than the Catholic. No, you guys all believe in the virgin birth. You guys all believe in a fiery heaven, fiery hell and a cloud heaven. You guys all believe, literally all the same stuff. You guys all believe in the Trinity. You guys literally all believe the same shit. The only difference is they tell somebody Father and make up their own saints, and you guys don't. That's literally the only Jehovah's Witnesses.
There's a
they're a little bit closer on some of this stuff, trying to stay away from pagan holidays, but you guys all celebrate Christmas. You guys all celebrate Easter. You guys put all that stuff in your tree. You guys are all the same in my eyes, but they're worse with the idolatry.
Yeah, there's
and the killing part.
There's I think you can find it on YouTube. It's got Stephen Fry, Richard Dawkins arguing with the Archbishop of the UK, pretty much, right? Like the biggest Catholics there, and it was essentially like, has the Catholic Church done more harm than good? I think was the subject of the debate, and it was really good. But
how many places have they literally razed? I mean,
yeah,
they've literally destroyed I don't know how many whole entire societies, just like erase them.
Who was up next for plugging stuff?
Oh, I'm sorry, I stepped all over.
You're good,
but Franco, yeah, let everybody know how to find you. They know the Frank analysis, of course, but they don't know all the other ads, so let them know.
Yeah. Well, you can find pretty much everybody who's here on this panel on my show, Frank Analysis, on YouTube and on Rockfin and on Odyssey, and on Twitter. You can find me at B43Franco. And I got some fun stuff happening this upcoming week. Fun stuff, but talking about sad things, but trying to be hopeful about it. Because as more time passes on, more people become aware of this stuff, the closer we get to actual solutions. So yeah, thank you guys.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, Franco, real quick. We asked Glory earlier about how did things go out there, from your perspective, as far as in the damn wars protest?
Oh, Glory would know more. She went to more of the events. I could only make it to the one on Sunday. But it was pretty good. I like most of the people who showed up.
Most other people.
Wow.
I know. I saw somebody in one of those pictures. I know you don't like.
Yeah, a little Gusano looking motherfucker that showed up.
It was cool though, and it was great seeing people again. It was great seeing people again. I haven't seen in a long time. But I was telling everybody put a mental aura around you in DC because there's some demonic vibes there.
Mm.
We're gonna be right in front of the White House, where it's probably like the center of all the weird energy that's emitted throughout the city.
Yes.
I'll bring the sage to burn. Is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So.
Hamza said Katie Halper and Nick Brana.
Oh, I didn't get to see Katie Halper.
I didn't know she was out there.
Yeah, at least they fucking showed up.
Of meeting her.
I'm actually surprised
More
she
than a
would
lot of
show up
folks.
to something like that. I mean,
As photo ops.
I'm surprised
that.
Well, people like her. That's like that kind of stuff is beneath her.
Right.
And
All of us are beneath her.
Yeah, well, that's essentially what Marianne was like. But it's like, I give Katie Halper credit for at least being willing to speak, because there are like people who show up to our events, but then they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to speak. I'm just here to support."
Who said that?
I ain't gonna name names.
Franco's like, I will headbutt that motherfucker.
I'll
You're good. Names can be protected.
I know I ain't gonna name names because it gets a bit, too close to home. But one of them was
fucking Glory ain't no snitch. No trying to get her to snitch out here.
Yeah.
Y'all done brought it over to the fucking Xerox machine that's supposed to be the lie detector.
I think everyone who spoke really well at the end of the Morris protest, and I'm sure the same thing happened at the Assange protests in front of the Department of Justice and in front of the British Embassy. We played your clip, Glory, where that guy was telling you to get off the flag.
Oh, bro, because he was like
funny.
walking over, and I'm just like, man, this motherfucker is so butthurt, isn't he? And I was like, fuck Commonwealth, because I was like stomping all over that flag. I spit on that flag, like.
I always think of something, kind of ironic. A lot of people don't catch this, but DC, District of Columbia. Columbia was like a pagan goddess of freedom. And then you think of it sits in between Maryland, and
named after the Queen.
And Virginia, Virgin Mary.
Mm.
Just want to throw that out there.
I bet that's where the intergalactic demons are.
I'm
just saying.
That city is like a ton of Masonic energy and Olive Moloch and all.
Even the way it was laid out too, like that tripped me out when someone was showing me like the way shit was laid out.
Oh, if you look at it aerially, you can see the fucking big ass owl, and you can see the whole Masonic
big
symbols.
Old dick on that yard.
They're aligned.
Big old national monument direction.
Yeah, you'll get us going again. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know it's late.
Let's not get started on phalluses.
We need Franco. We need to have a rock fan show going into this shit deep.
Oh yeah, we do gotta have that. Yeah, we gotta bring Shadowban on.
You gotta bring Shadow. I think Reef definitely gotta be there too.
But
Y'all up there talking about camel toes.
Who's up next?
You are Warren, next, sir.
I think I already went.
Yeah, I
you're
think it's just me and Warren left.
Yeah, you and Warren.
Go for it, Glory.
Oh, okay. Y'all can find me on the ground and around. Don't know when I'll be on the ground next, just because that shit happens spontaneously. But I was on the ground in DC for the end of Damn Wars and Assange protests. You can catch recaps on that on Twitter. If you go to my timeline, just search up Glory Jones. I come up with the hashtag Free Assange next to it, or Franco's timeline, or Fiorella's timeline, or MCSC's timeline, or any of our timelines, or Misty timelines. Then, we shared a lot of recaps of how the DC trip was. So the DC trip was. So yeah. Other than that, I'm also on Slow News Day. Well, and on the note of DC, I have Free the Truth with Comrade Misty. Working out the time for that with Misty's new show and everything, but y'all can check that out and we'll let you know. And then, of course, Slow News Day. We will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. East Coast time with our Sunday show. And that'll be dope. Come through for that if y'all are up then. And I also have a Hive blog. It's at Zero Eclipse with 2 E's at the end of it. There's pieces up on there. Obviously, I haven't written much on there since in the past couple months because I write so much for school. But there are pieces up on there, and there is one up on there regarding the war in Ukraine. So it's still pertinent enough. And then also, of course, I'm active with the Free Commander X Defense Campaign. You can find all updates for that on @FreeCommanderX_ on Twitter. And yeah, that's all I can remember for now. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Good to have you here tonight.
Of course.
And Uncle Warren, your turn, brother.
I keep it easy. Linktree.com/extrabula. You'll find all the show, social, donation links, all that good stuff. Shows on Thursday nights, kind of varies. Usually it's 7 p.m. or sometimes it starts at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Just depends. But usually Thursday nights is a solid. Also on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Those are Eastern times, by the way. Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Me and Jimmy Sunderland do KRTD News for an hour of fun and adventure and depressing news that everyone enjoys. And I started something new this week. It's just kind of a rando. It's kind of like the pop-up stores in Times Square. They you don't know where they're going to be, and all of a sudden there's a Stranger Things store kind of thing. It's called Extrabula Secret Show. And it's kind of a after midnight kind of show, usually about an hour. And I just get on there, we just talk about some shit, and I read the chat and keep it light, and that's about it. And we had one this past Wednesday, and it was pretty good. It actually went better than I expected. I thought maybe I was just going to be talking into the darkness, but
nope.
I was talking into the darkness. But I was talking to the darkness, but the darkness spoke back, which was nice. Usually there's demonic voices that come up, but not this time. So that was pretty cool. So
blame. But yeah, other thing, Tara Reid, everyone go follow her, give her a like, and if you could support her in any way, that would be great, since they pulled all of RT off of things. And they don't like to hire Russian assets at the coffee shop, apparently. So go hook that lady up. Make sure she can stay afloat for a while. But, otherwise, do you.
Yeah. And even when they had her on there, I could tell that they were shadow banning all her shit.
Mm-hmm.
Even on Twitter, it was weird to me how it started getting numbered, then it tanked fast.
Yep.
And so
if you search for Tara Reid author on YouTube, she just started her shows back up too. So yeah, she's had Fee on and all that stuff. So
she just had Lee Camp on also. So make sure to go and check her out.
Mopping.
If either look for her YouTube, or especially definitely look for her Rockfin. Hopefully it can build up, because as far as I've seen, Rockfin is not blocking her. So definitely push her over there. Big shout out definitely to IndependentLeft.News also for letting us use their platform. Very humbled and much appreciated for allowing us, even though we went way off topic in so many different areas. Sometimes it's just fun to just have a relaxed conversation amongst friends and content creators, and you guys can hear some of the stuff that we actually think about. Some of the when it comes down to it, we're all nerds, okay? Just understand that part.
Facts.
We're all thinking about all these mystical and deep concepts and all this other stuff, and much appreciation. Jack and Shadow, those are definitely like my brothers, and we almost consider them a part of the political matrix.
Shadow
So
Band.
they always
he's the guy that's always coming in the chat with all caps and black flags, right? That crazy motherfucker.
that says fuck every 3 words. But yes, they always know that they always have an open invitation anytime they want to hop on.
We appreciate it.
Hey, we love you guys over here.
Oh,
Franco,
yeah,
my brother, you know, he's a busy man, but always glad when he has the time to swing through. You know, much appreciation to him. And snuck away from the wife for a moment to be able to spend some time with us. So we appreciate that definitely.
Well, one quick thing with Franco, most people don't know this, but Franco was the first content person doing content when I was doing research that actually ran with my research, and it was into a specific pack ran by Miss Crystal Ball because the hill was starting to stink.
Well, they snatched some of our shit too. I mean, honestly, Franco really gave this channel like a big lift, and because he was like, you know what, hey, he's talking about some interesting stuff and wanted to have conversations, and ever since then, and Franco's just been an awesome freaking guy, since then. So
amen to
mad
that.
love for Franco.
Franco's dope.
Franco.
Also, I wanted to plug something I'd have going on. I have a interview tomorrow. I'll be back to being serious. So for those who are looking for the serious Marcus, he'll be back.
Oh yeah, sure.
I will be talking to Carl Za, and we'll be talking all things China. That should get very interesting. So we're going to talk about like the drone stuff that's been going on, the whole COVID zero, China's ties and relationship with Russia, as opposed to the pushback they've been getting from the U.S. and so many different things.
What they're doing in Africa and all that stuff.
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. For those who are not familiar with Carl, he runs the Silk and Steel podcast on Podbeam. He also has a channel under his name, Carl Zahir, on YouTube. And he's often running spaces on Twitter. So, go ahead. When you guys see him out there, you guys will see I follow him. Go and check out, and occasionally I will tweet out some of his spaces. They're talking a lot of interesting issues and getting internal politics and inside of China, Taiwan, Bali. He actually lives in Bali right now. So yes, definitely check them out. Hopefully we can get Franco on here again sometime soon. Yes, Carl, he spelled it exactly right. I'll put that on the screen for those to see. Yes, that is how it's spelled. Carl Za. Very, very brilliant young man. He's actually spent some time on Fault Lines. I've seen him on there and a couple other platforms. So as far as keeping up with China, he's one of my go-to people to listen to. So I know Fault Lines. We can ignore how they become. But I appreciate everybody for the chat. I appreciate you guys for all coming in here. Sorry, Kelly, we got a little bit too nerdy for you. I know Kelly was the one who was, hitting shots behind the bleachers while all of us were studying. Passing the joint. Chris was probably out there with her. All passing the blunt while we were studying. So much appreciation for all of you guys for coming through. This has been the Political Matrix and friends, like I have in my DM often. Independent Left, we gotta have you on here also one of these times and start digging into tu cabeza. So I see Frankie Lee is dropping that Espanol. I don't know. I guess I got mixed up. I thought Frankie Lee was, I don't know. Maybe I got to figure out. I'm getting people mixed up, But also Slade, I got to get some food in my belly. Chris, I will let you sign us out. Anything you got to say, brother, and let me know when to end it.
No, I mean everybody touch base. Everybody, put their card out there, their flag. Where they are. To find me. I'm here with you guys online. But as usual, thanks everybody coming. To the guests, Reef, Warren, Franco. I see Jack, and of course, Glory. Thank you all for joining us, and everybody have a good night.
Peace, friends.